Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our Foxhole Fridays. I am happy to have all of you here with us. We are playing The Gamblers, our Traveler Pirates of Drinax campaign. And thank you for putting up with the long wait before we started. There has been some Twitch problems. Twitch has apparently been going down all over the ingest servers have been going down all over the Eastern Seaboard. So we had to find a server that would take us and
That
not.
sounds like the doings of pirates. I'm just saying.
Sure does.
So we stole the server. So thank you everybody for being so kind to wait for us to go live. And you won't stop the gamblers. So I want to say thank you for being here. This show means a lot to me, also to this cast, and it means a lot that you are here because this show wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for you all instigating us in chat, really, and sending me DMs saying that I should kill each individual character slowly, one by one. And then I started with Terrica last time, and who knows which one I'll kill this time. It's, thank you, chat, for suggesting that. That's not what happened. Anyhow, but you can support us by retweeting Weskeeting, that we are live. You can tell your friends. You can hang out on our Discord. You can certainly watch us. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can send a like, subscribe, comment. There are some exciting comments for this last time around. And also, you can give us tips and bits, and we will read out any tips and bits messages at the end. Also, we have a Patreon, which goes to help pay for the cast of this show and any other RPGs on this show. That's at Academic Foxhole, and you can help out by hanging out there. Also, if you, we have a special sponsorship tier. It's $200 a month, and will pay for 4 players in one game for 1 week, and you'll get a special radio ad if that is the case. I believe that is all of our big pre-show business, although I do have one other minor pre-show business. Sorry, this is not my fault. I just need to let you know that I'm a person, unfortunately, who sometimes I say words or other people say words in just the right way, and then songs just start playing in my head. And right there, it just went to Ethel Merman, There's No Business Like Show Business. I am so sorry, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. Greg knows. So I unfortunately have a lot of Ethel Merman in my head right now in a way that is definitely going to be somewhat distracting. But I just wanted to shout out some of our comments that we got from this last week around, because we have some. So we did have...
Just sing it. Just go ahead and let it happen. That's the only way to stop it.
Okay, this was for episode 2 of this season from Rufio.
You have to say it as if you're Ethel Merman.
Severance. Why are you under my bed? That's Severance as Ethel Merman.
Thank you.
And Wesley's like, you ain't clapping no cheeks. Wesley just burned Severance like Val burned that pirate. Sorry, that makes me happy. Rufio also said, "Oh, it's so good to see y'all back finally. Missed our beloved gamblers so much. I'm late to the return because I forgot how quick you are to post the streams here. Looking forward to see what shenanigans the new season brings." And also, LMAO, the Admiral seat should just be a fold-up camping chair that Wesley Hurley brings out for the Lord Admiral Captain Baron Supreme Severance when he's on deck. Which
I like that.
could work.
I like
it.
I heard Supreme.
Oh, actually,
you should add that in.
Also from Rufio. Well, Corsair Admiral Captain Baron Supreme Severance can now add head chef to his lofty array of titles. If he gets forklift certified, he will become truly unstoppable. Little do you know, Rufio, he is forklift certified. It just hasn't come up on screen yet, but it will.
Right, it's in my skills.
It will.
Recon forklift.
It's but also Rufio wants you to know, Cord, that 3D rendering of the Gambler is amazing, which here.
I've been having fun with it. Thank you, Tailspire. I'm going to play with it some more today.
We have also, this is very exciting, we have a brand new viewer who is watching from Season 1. And so we have a couple of Season 1 comments. I know.
It's okay, they won't know until probably 6 weeks from now that I said that.
So I'm going to read these 3 comments from our new viewer, Malamber in 9823, and I just want you to try to figure out what they're talking about. Mythematics filter that gets rid of his eyebrows really creeps me out for some reason. Lol.
Good.
Yes.
Well, you have the rest of the show, buddy.
Yes.
Plenty more hours where that came from.
This one here. I love Fox with the deer head. Couldn't stop laughing. Just found the series, binging it now. This was for Cattle Call when we were talking about the Greebs for the very first time, and you let us know.
Yeah.
Just a little deer head just floating in on screen.
He's hanging up now. I can't do it again.
And this last comment is, well, I swear, this, by the way, this comment's from episode 10 of season 1. I swear, Troopers should talk to Dr. Pepper about a sponsorship. Every episode, that appears to be his beverage of choice. I don't know where that comment came from. That's weird, because, I mean, what? Those are our comments, everyone. So,
The way that you lifted that up, I was like, that's really awkward for, oh, hey.
look, sometimes you got to do the visual gag. Sometimes you
It
just
was
have
great.
to.
It was very good. You got me going.
Thank you, everyone, leaving those comments. So, I would like to have our players introduce themselves. I have got great players. I love them. I was just thinking about how much I love them recently. When I was up at some inappropriate time writing things I probably should not have been writing because I love each one of them. I was like, oh, for them, ooh, all that excitement. But
I'm
are
suddenly very interested in what you're writing.
You know, I know the thing is, you're all going to ask at some point in time in character, and then we'll be ready. But they're great. I really adore them. Whenever I think about these players, I think about how wonderful it is to play RPGs with people who you vibe with. And I'm excited for this moment. And, you know, they're a rare crew who will jump face first into the madness that is this. And so if each one of them would introduce who they are and just tell us who they're playing and then answer this question. So you're missing your pilot. You'll be coming out of jump space with no pilot. How are you feeling?
Yes.
Well, you're missing your pilot.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So, you know,
Or
where's
do we
Rocket?
just say in it, I guess. Okay.
So
This will go well. Listen, everyone, it was really fun playing this game with you. It was great having characters together in a group where we weren't on fire and dying. That was a neat time.
But who are you playing?
Oh, I listen. I was going off on like how we're gonna die a fiery death, and I didn't even know it was my time. Hello, friends. It is I, Rocket Fox, your second favorite person, as always. And yeah, I am playing the Harlock, who apparently can't get past the fact that I'm thinking about all of us dying in a horrific, burning, fiery death. I guess coming out of jump space wouldn't be a fiery death. It would be more instantaneous, I feel. Right? Like that's...
Depends.
So it could be... We could...
Implosion.
Right, so we could turn inside out. We could burst into flames. We could grow extra limbs. Who knows? There's a whole lot of fun that could happen now that we have no pilot. So that's going to be a blast. And Trooper, was there a question too? Did I miss that?
That was the question. What are you going to do without your pilot? That's your question.
Oh,
how are you feeling now that you lost your pilot? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's apparently all I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the night. So, but that's me, excited.
Okay, then speaking of people who are excited to lose their pilot, I feel like, Cord, you've lost your child. So who are you? Who are you playing? And then, how do you feel about losing your pilot in a psionic teleportation accident, perhaps?
Hi, everybody. I'm Cord, a.k.a. Mythematic. I am playing Corsair Admiral Baron Severance, who is a clone of an Imperial Duke who has gone rogue / left on a planet of Drinax, and he has faked it until he maked it as an admiral. And he failed out of school a bunch of times, but somehow ended up on top. But here he is, still lying his way to the top. But as of right now, the question being, what do we think about our
How are
pilot
you
that's now
feeling
missing?
about losing
How are we feeling
your
about losing our
pilot?
pilot? Yeah, it's hard because right now, Severance is like, hey, they're still here, maybe, because they wouldn't have teleported out of jump space because no one's lived to teleport outside of jump space. So they must be in the ship. And that's what Severance sort of believes right now. He thinks that they're somewhere on the ship and is going to try to see and ping for more life signs if there are any. And if there aren't any, then we will probably prepare a funeral because no one survives traveling out of the jump bubble. So it's almost
usually
likely.
Can't teleport that far. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's
Right. And even if you could, you'd be out of the jump bubble and then you'd be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And also, as far as anybody knows, Terra cannot teleport. So that's the thing.
Yeah. And don't mind the furry tentacle. That is my cat's tail. Obviously, it's not mine.
Oh.
But yeah, that's me. That's the Severance, and that's his thoughts. I mean, it's rough. It's because I think he's probably disassociated every single time there has been any mention of Erica being his spawn. So he is just sort of it's if we're lucky, he'll disassociate right through this too. But I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. I feel like we should go to Lindy next, whose character has a somewhat intimate relationship with our missing pilot. Lindy, who are you? Who are you playing? And how does your character feel about missing your pilot?
Hi, I'm Lindy, Laughlow Lindy, and I will be playing Quint Vesper, the former Solomani spy, Cirque performer, fake Imperial Scout. A lot of hats on this head. And now just a big question mark of bodyguard. That's fine. So how do I feel, or how does Quint feel about?
How does Quint feel? That's what I care about. Emotional damage.
A little concerned. Because our pilot was very, very good, really good, and now we don't have that. So getting out of jump space, that should be okay, but landing on the next planet, that is...
Yeah.
Also, where did they go? Like, there's only so many places you can go in jump space. Hasn't... I don't think they've that he's asked the Harlock yet. So what happens if you teleport in jump space? Because I do know that teleportation's a thing, psionically speaking, but how far and where? And those are questions that are it's fine. Someone will pilot this ship, either Val was the co-pilot, so maybe Val knows how to pilot, or if worst case scenario, Wesley, and I'll be the in-between choice. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Talk to the Harlock.
Talk to the Harlock, it'll be fine.
I'll think
Captain! Who's gonna fly the ship?
Which means I think we should go to our pilot's very best friend. Very best friend who watched their very best friend disappear in front of their eyes. Greg, who are you? Who are you playing? And how does your character feel about losing your pilot?
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg. I play Dr. Valentine, Val Morrissey. I don't think Val has had a chance to really, because there was an emergency with the Harlock. He had to fall into that kind of life-saving routine. He hasn't had a chance to process it. I mean, to let you behind the curtain a little bit, Val works with what's in front of him and forgets everything else, and then addresses those things one at a time whenever he is done with what he's doing. He's not a multitasker of any sort. So, I don't know. I've been thinking about this since we had our last session about how
Yeah.
Val was going to react to Terrica's disappearance, and I think I know what's going to happen. So, but Val is a strange beast, so we'll see where it goes. But let's have fun.
Okay. Well then. So, and I am your GM, and I'll be herding these cats today. I like to give little bits of lore. Sometimes we start a session for no reason. I like to just share data for the audience, just for the audience, and never am I doing it for any purposes at all. But I do have some things that I would like to share with you before we begin. And then I'll tell you where we're at. But, once upon a time, a very long time ago, human beings on the planet Earth had a dream of going to the stars, a place where no one has ever been before. And they sort of worked together. They worked very hard. We got like a big UN thing, and they were able to figure out this jump drive and to be able to get themselves further out into our galaxy where no one has ever traveled. And when our humans made it out of our space, they found there were humans everywhere, actually. There was an entire interstellar galactic-wide empire full of human beings. And actually, there are human beings all over the universe, which they thought was pretty weird. And the response of the other aliens, which were also humans, to seeing people from Terra was, "Who are you? What? Oh, you're from that weird backwater planet that nobody ever goes to, that nobody paid attention to? That's weird. Huh. We didn't really know you were there because we weren't paying attention to you." That's what happened. And then, of course, as Earthlings do, they sort of expanded. There was a whole bunch of stuff. But what I want to say is there became a bit of a question. And that question was, at least a question that people from Earth had, was how come there are humans from our planet, or how come there are humans on other planets? Like, I thought, like, we'd all seen Star Trek, etc., and like, you go to other planets and they're just other aliens, and what's this all about? Well, it's a good question. And it's a question that nobody has really answered, but there are theories, different theories. One thing I will say is there are many different races of humanity. There's like so many different races of humanity. Many of them are genetically engineered, right, for very specific purposes. But out of all of the races of humanity, there are 3 main genetically distinct races of humanity. The 3 most populated, genetically distinct races of humanity are the Solomani, who are the people from Earth, the Villani, who are the people of that big, huge, massive galactic empire the Terrans ran into and was like, "Oh, we thought we were going to conquer the whole universe. It turns out somebody already has." Awkward. And then the Zodani, who are very psionically capable. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say a couple things just so we all know where we're at. It was a question. Why are there humans everywhere throughout the universe? Now, there are many different theories. There is one theory that is very popular with the Solomani, and it's called the Solomani hypothesis, and they believed, I should back up 1 second first. In the vastness of our galaxy, there are ruins that are millennial old, these old ruins that have similar sorts of architecture and can be found all throughout the galaxy. And the thing about these ruins is that makes people think there must have been some great lost civilization. And they call them the Ancients. That's, the Zodani have another name for them. Other sort of groups of people have other names for them. But there is this theory that there are these Ancients. And if you know, by the way, travelers from the 70s, so if you know your 1970s culture, the idea of there was an idea happening in the 1970s wherein there are these, that we were like created by ancient aliens, like ancient aliens came to Earth and that's where we come from. It's very Battlestar Galactica, and also it's a thing, but that is infused within Traveler, that the idea that perhaps, right, these ancient aliens were the ones who sort of seeded life throughout the galaxy. Now, I will note that what we call the Solomani hypothesis is one that the Solomani like, and their hypothesis is that the ancients, who we don't really know anything about, within the universe, people don't necessarily know much about them. I'm going to give a little bit of data about that, which may also be things I want when I tell you these stories, I'm just telling the players things to remind them. That's all. But the Solomani hypothesis is that all humans are descended from Solomani. That the Solomani are the original humans created by the ancients, and then from there they all spread out. So the Solomani believe that they are the original humans. Most other people don't believe that because they're from a backwater, nowhere planet that nobody cares about. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. There is debate. It's not really settled. I will also note that when it comes to the ancients, we don't know a lot about them. There are various theories. There are a lot of people who do their equivalent of various reality shows or like Ancients Hunters. The Imperium has done, a lot of archaeology trying to find sites for the ancients. Now, I will note about this area, the Trojan Reaches, where our game is set. The Trojan Reaches are, and why am I telling you this? Reasons. The Trojan Reaches are, as I've mentioned this before, that it's stuck between these two big empires. But what should be noted about the Trojan Reaches is that it was an empty space. For the longest time, really nobody lived there. It was a sort of unsettled. And the first people, and although it was close to the Villani space, the first people to settle the Trojan Reaches were the Solomani, because the Solomani were very, very excited about space exploration and finding places where they could settle. So the very, very first people who settled into the Trojan Reaches areas were the Solomani about, 2,500 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Now, a lot of bad things have happened to the Trojan Reaches. Empires have risen and fallen, people have been destroyed. So there hasn't been, and I'm just going to say this for no reason, there hasn't been a lot of exploration of the Trojan Reaches looking for ancient sites. There could be ruins that belong to the ancients here in the Trojan Reaches. It's just that the Trojan Reaches has been so chaotic and unstable that people have not had the chance to go and explore like the non-main planets and just see if there are things around. So there could be things, nobody knows. Not that that's important. Anyhow, so that's sort of like the thing to think about. And I will note that there's a lot of discussion about how people believe that the Vargur are actually uplifted wolves, that the ancients did genetic engineering to sort of create the Vargur. And some people think that various races have been created by the ancients. The Zodani note that they believe that the ancients shaped the Zodani to be especially powerful in psionics, right? So there's a lot of and again, people will blame the ancients for everything or credit the ancients for everything, but we don't really know a lot about it within this universe. People have theories, but you need to find some experts in ancientology, but I will also note many of them have tinfoil hats and are conspiracy theorists, so you can't always trust what they all have to say. Do you know what I mean? So that's a thing. So that's just a little bit of history. The next thing I want to say is the reminders section. Last time on The Gamblers, our Tagonists were having they just went into jump space on their way from number 1 to Acis, and they had a really lovely first night captain's dinner, the admiral's dinner, and it was very lovely, but some people stole these our Tagonists took on, and I'm just repeating this is a bit of a reminder of things that you know about from before, because I feel like you should just be reminded of these things. Our Tagonists picked up some refugees on Marduk who were heading to Acis. 2 women and 3 children and a whole bunch of grebes. They took these people on. They realized right as they were heading into Thebes that there was something wrong with the grebes, half of which were transferred over to our crew in the official documentation. before they arrived as payment. Turns out they were smuggling drugs in the Grebes, the ones that technically belong to our Tagonists, so that when, just in case things went bad, with the Imperial Navy blockade that showed up and was checking their ship for something, drugs, they would be in trouble, not these refugees. Val woke them up and tortured one of them and killed one of them, trying to figure out what's up with this. One of the things that Val learned when interrogating these two smugglers, these two smugglers threatened them. Well, one of them did. The other one didn't. The one that was not murdered was actually quite cooperative. The one who was not cooperative and who put the entire ship at risk is not alive right now. But one of the things that the not alive one said is that we have connections with the White Rabbit, and you don't want to mess with us because we have these really strong connections, and you're going to be in big trouble if you cross us because we're connected. And had a very special cigarette with a sort of like a gold filter that is a secret symbol of the Free Fields movement, organization, group, terrorist group. Val does not know these women at all, so there's a little bit of a mystery about what that's about. But they had these drugs. One thing to note is that there was the drugs got out again, and the drugs hit the Harlock, and the Harlock was getting to a space where she could no longer breathe. She was clearly being attacked by these drugs, just being in the air, not even actually ingesting them. And this happened because Terrica had the drugs in their hand, and just there's a puncture that was bad. But although the genetic testing has not been done yet, in this sort of psionic connecting state, Val was able to intuit, knowing that there was genetic material in there, although he has not yet done the genetic testing medically, that the kind of genetic material in there was meant to harm Zodani psionically and also help Solomani psionically. That was the vibe that Val got. And more genetic testing can be done to find out very specifics about that, but that was the psionic sense that this drug was engineered in some way to sort of like boost the psionics of Solomani, or especially boost the psionics of Solomani. Some of the qualities are still a little bit unclear, but also to very directly harm Zodani as at the same time. So that's a bit of a mystery, but their pilot is missing. Their pilot has left. And I will note that Severance has seen the clone chamber, the clone lab, with a bunch of different Terricas that Terrica currently is in, but Severance does not know that Terrica is in that clone lab, but that lab was seen in a vision by Severance. And the Harlock had been in a previous clone lab with a bunch of Severances in it. So there's like these sort of like and actually the Harlock knows this, but this person, this ancient millennial old evil warlord, has these sort of clone labs with a number of bodies that have been very carefully genetically engineered with a huge bit of viridian that allows him to jump into bodies if he gets murdered, right? So if he gets killed somewhere, he will automatically be ported into one of these bodies that's being fueled by a huge amount of viridian. So there's that. And I believe with all of that information, I will say, they're in jump space. They don't have their pilot. No one's told Wesley that his legal guardian and their pilot is missing. And that is where we're going to open up the doors. I will open up our curtain and give the stage to my players. I am going to ask them if there's anything that they're immediately going to do in the post. I will note that that there was a sort of like the Harlock did a psionic scan to see if there was any life on the ship that they were not aware of, and the only life they got was Sue, who was a living being but flickering in and out of being alive. So, my friends, we have a week in jump space, but I think we might need to deal with this very immediate situation first. I will hand this over to you. We have naked, wet Harlock and Val in the shower down by the low berths. We have your passengers, the absent-minded, also concussed professor, and your very avant-garde latex salesman to the stars locked in their rooms because things got weird, and everybody else is sort of like waiting. We have the Admiral and Quint up in the Admiral's room, and that is where we are going to open up the curtains because we might as well just see what you want to do with that before we move forward.
Yeah, I imagine
Are we all in the same area?
Val
right
and
now, because
Harlock are downstairs.
Because we went to go and out.
I was just gonna say, I think after everything that had happened with the Harlock and Val valiantly fighting to get the drugs away, I feel like either she would have gone unconscious or is kind of like teetering in that really out of it kind of space.
Then, if I could, as long as the Harlock's vitals are okay, he does have his one equipment thing that he can, he has the chip in the Harlock that he can read all that stuff. So as long as that's okay, Val would probably just like lean up against the tile wall, like holding the Harlock, like, maybe manually checking the pulse. And just at this moment is when his mind goes away from that emergency and he just sees Terrica wink out in front of him, and that second is over and over and over as he's just lying there as the water's coming down on both of them.
We're still linked, are we not?
Yep.
I think so, because that's happening over and over. My guess would be that because on the inside, is she ever really not there? And so would probably be seeing this happening, and still pretty weak. So I think he might kind of hear an echoey voice or like see as it looking almost like she's a projection or something, but not actually in his mind space like she normally would be. And because Trooper, you can correct me on this. I feel like she's seen enough blinking out to kind of get the sense that, like, I likely know, if not where they went, that some sort of teleportation happened whilst in jump space, and that's probably not great.
Well, I will give you two answers to this. The first one is, from all of your training, that is impossible. Well, I mean, actually, it wouldn't be impossible. It just would be deadly, right? You can't.
Right. And so to speak, that like, hey, this likely is not good.
However, here's my however. That would be the normal thing that you would know. But the however is, as far as you know, Terrica does not have the ability to teleport. That is not a skill that they have. So they have never, and as far as you, cannot initiate teleportation psionically. And that was definitely a psionic teleport. So the question becomes, how did that happen? And
well, I guess I wonder.
I would say the only thing that you know is that Severance also teleported out at one point in time, and you know that so did you, that he also doesn't have the ability to teleport. But when you teleported out, you were not teleported out of your own will. You were teleported out into a lab that was designed by that person that the Zodani is looking for.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, sure. I sent you to find or to track. Don't worry about it. There was, a lab that was anchored in this in your and Val's child now. This sort of Verdian piece, right? That is some kind of large anchor.
Actually,
go ahead.
I actually do have teleportation, just so you know.
Oh, do you
really?
really?
On my sheet. Yeah.
Well, because there was that one time when he teleported without his clothes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why are we all naked? What's going on here, guys?
Yeah.
But by the way, those clothes ended up in the lab, if you recall, right? That when he instinctually teleported, the things that didn't come with him were ported back to this home base with all of these severances, right? That they were drawn.
Yeah, all of that just to say that there's a possibility, even being as out of it as she is, the Harlock would make a connection of like, hey, this thing does exist that can teleport people. Whether and she knows the relationship between Severance and Terrica, so would know that there's some tie there. My other question for that being, I remember that Severance had the vision of all the Terrica room of Terricas.
Yes.
That's something that Harlock was aware of.
I don't know if who did Severance tell? I think that Severance certainly did not tell Terrica.
Severance and Harlock were standing right next to each other when it happened.
Yes.
That was a question.
Has Severance told anyone about the Terricas, but not Terrica?
The Terrica room, because he had
Terricas?
He had the vision of all the Terrica clones when he was with Harlock.
Yes.
But did he tell her?
I don't think he did. I don't think he told anybody. But the only person who would know that is probably Willem. But I don't think he has told anyone. But like, I do have like this weird memory that I did mention it once, and someone went, "What?" And I was like,
"I think you did."
Yeah, but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that happening, but I also don't remember who it was.
I think it might have been the Harlock because I don't think anybody else knows about it. But I think you mentioned the Harlock.
Makes the most sense. Yeah, okay.
Because it happened. I think it might have been close to in that moment because it was just like you were gone there for a second, my guy. What'd you see?
Yeah. And like I would go as far as say even if Willen right now is like, that's not what happened.
Help us.
Then I think I'm still like okay with being like, you're psychic. We have a bond. I feel like you would know if something's up and then probably go pry around. And then discover that anyway, right? And even if that's not true, I feel like it sort of like, even if that's something that Harlock wouldn't do, like consensually go into someone's mind. I feel like there is an understanding where this probably happened before, and Severance has given you the okay. If you ever needed to go root around in my psyche, do it. So like this information you having makes sense to me, player, for Harlock to have it. Whether or not I did.
Okay, and I feel like I do remember that, but
I think I do too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know I mentioned it at someone. I don't remember who it was, but if that wasn't the case, I'm making it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Have the information.
So in normal circumstances, Terrica is probably just dead and weird. But considering that you know about this very odd teleportation chamber that lets people teleport in some sort of unclear and heretofore impossible ways. There you go.
I like the dead and weird.
Rocket, are you trying to communicate this to Val? Like, are you?
So I think what would happen is it wouldn't be as clear as like just showing all the stuff, like because that would be a real mind bending experience, and I think I could realize that.
And like you said, you're weakened right now too, so the bond isn't as
so I think
clear as it normally is, right?
Yeah, it would look almost like the
I know how Val sees
Obi-Wan, your only hope. She's kind of just like loosely there, but I think would kind of appear ish like next to him, to where like he doesn't necessarily notice at first, but then she'd start trying to talk to him.
Okay, then I'll tell you what you see. Because again, Val can't hide anything from you inside the brain space stuff. So it's him just thinking of that moment, you like observing that moment of Terrica winking out as they disappear. But then as soon as you start trying to communicate these things, if you were to look at yourself and see your projection the way that Val does, you would notice that you look almost like a cartoon and you flicker like almost like a reel-to-reel movie projector would as it's spinning through the frames. And you would also notice that you have subtitles. And Val is about 5 or 6 years old. And he's sitting watching you as you speak the native tongue of the Aslan. and he is reading the subtitles that you are, whatever you're saying, he's reading beneath you the subtitles, because this is how he learned to speak the languages that he can learn now when he was young. And so this is the only way that he can kind of focus down into understanding exactly what you're trying to convey, because he has to push everything else out like he did when he was little. And so that's how you see him.
I think on seeing that, because that would, Harlock's seen many things, and like being in different minds, many different like coping mechanisms and things like that. I think this would be a little odd. And so for a moment, I think she looks at herself and probably, I would imagine, you can stop me if this is not how you envision it, but I imagine like looking around and she wearing like a fake lion mane. It has just like a little dot on the nose and things like that. Like, think old school Channel 9 sort of.
We did bring up Romper Room one time, so
you know, has the gloves with the little paw prints on the inside. But that would be just to, she knows, but just to see like how aware you are. Would Val?
Val wouldn't respond, but you could see his eyes, much, larger for his smaller face, would look at you and slightly nod. Okay. He knows not to speak back to adults.
And yes, well, you saw what happened with Terrica, yes?
He would just nod again.
Without going into too much, and I think as she's saying that, there would be like, again on kids shows, how there'll be like a little diagram that pops up, and actually this might be the perfect time. So you recall when I disappeared before, strangely, I didn't go into much detail with everyone on what happened. I don't think it was completely necessary. But suffice to say, I saw a great many of our severances, but they weren't. They were the other clones. And you see just like little stick drawings of a bunch of people popping up. Well, imagine, if you will, you know the biological relationship between Terrica and Severance. And she waits for the nod. Erases all the little stick people. Now, because there is that biological link, there also exists a room of Terricas. All the little people pop up. And in the lab, when I went there the first time, there was, envision an anchor of sorts that lets either Severance, or properly speaking, the Baron, or anyone who gets in the Baron's way, to teleport to that spot, kind of like a fail-safe, an escape pod sort of situation. Whenever one of the bodies passes away, then he would make a jump to the next one. I believe that may be what happened to our Terrica. There's little line drawings all over the place now.
Right. And again, Val would look up as he reads the last of what you've said. He reads the subtitle, and then his eyes would track up to your face. But when his head looks up at yours, he's again the age that you know him as. What do you mean, a room full of Terricas?
Well, you know how Severance is a clone of the Baron, yes?
Terrica is not a clone.
She may not have been.
Where is this?
We'll have to talk to Severance. I don't know that he necessarily got an exact pinpoint on the location, but because he saw it, I can probably help him remember. We'll need to get there quick, though.
This is not resting.
We'll need to get there quick. I can't imagine, if I know anything about Terrica, that they're going to be waking up in their new location particularly well. It's again, I didn't speak a great deal about the other one, but there's and I imagine Val is still like sitting on the ground or something like this. Kind of leans forward, still that flickering, but leans forward, like down, almost like right in his face. There's much death there. It's very dark. It's not a place for Terika.
I'm going to put you in my room, your body. Stay here if you want. You need to rest. And then he leaves the space as he, in the real world, picks up the Harlock's body, use the command to turn off the shower, and then heads to his room to put her in the makeshift med bay that they have, because you fuckers won't let me buy a real one.
Well, and I think at that point, like the view of inside of Val's mind would just like a turning off an old TV where just like, the light all goes into the little dot, like the Harlock and all of everything that was there just kind of clicks off.
I would say
while
this
that
then,
is happening, please go
Can
ahead.
I say one thing real quick, Trooper? Because the Harlock would be there a beat or two after Val left, and the way that you described it as like the TV turning off and going to like the pinpoint, almost like in an old TV that whenever you would turn it off, the glass would reflect the room. Whenever it goes down into nothing, there is a silhouette of a very large individual for just a second in the glass, and it does not look like Val's silhouette. And then it too is gone.
And while that is happening, I would like to step back in time just a bit, because we have Severance and we have Quint in Severance's room, because Val just ran off to try to go and save the Harlock, who noped out with a closing airway passage, leaving you two alone in the room.
All right, so it seems as if we have a situation. Do you have any way to scan for life signs?
Not right where I'm at currently. No, I can. If I can get to ship controls, I can attempt something. Or we
Well,
could
then
ask
go.
Sue.
Oh,
All right.
go.
I'll go to the bridge where there's scanning stuff if I can.
I'll allow it.
And you can also just ask Sue.
Yeah, I ask Sue as I'm going to the bridge. Because I'm sure when things can pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sue just pops up and is walking with you side by side as you're heading towards the sensor suite.
Sue is in the suit on the bridge. Isn't Sue in the suit in the bridge?
Yes, he is. By the way, corners are sort of slow, right? They're awkward, and so Sue popped out of the suit to walk alongside Quint in that hallway because it would be too tight in holographic form. And once they get back onto the bridge, Sue then pops back into the suit, just like whoosh. Hello, how can I help you?
Scans of this ship. Can we find life signs looking for Terika? They've disappeared.
Oh, one moment. No, they are not on the ship at the moment.
They're not on the ship. Any unaccounted for life forms on the ship? That was not in the register previously?
No. Right now, everyone on this ship is on the ship's register, except we are missing Terika.
Except Terika, we're missing them. Okay.
Am I there? Or is this
because this is just in the hallway. Your room is so close to the bridge. That is a thing that you... This conversation is very audible for you.
Nearby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just do an additional scan just to make sure. No? That can't hurt, no?
Of course. Where did Terika go?
Check again. He's going to scream over, probably from his room.
Admiral?
Check again.
All right. I'm seeing...
You must be having a malfunction.
No. I'm sensing right now we have the Captain the Harlock, and also Val in low berth. We have the professor. He seems to be sleeping in his room. We also have Monsieur Rambeau, who is awake in his room. Right now, I'm also sensing Quint on the bridge. I'm sensing you in your room. I'm sensing Kareen in her room with Wesley. I am sensing Evan is in the kitchen cleaning up. Yes.
What about the low berths?
We have one expired person in low berth. We have, yes, this person died of a plague. They seem to have been ill. The records will show that they died of illness while in passage. All of the documentation is there. 3 children, a woman. Yes, I believe we are all accounted for. Marcel Rambeau, Dorothea Pinkerton, Aline Pinkerton, Helma Pinkerton, Stanfield Pinkerton, and Udell Pinkerton, and Professor Utah Mirabar.
What about Wesley?
Balzani.
Where is Wesley?
Wesley seems to be in Kareen's room. Technically, it is both their rooms, although Wesley does not stay there normally.
All right. And Quinn's gonna try just one more time to reach out psionically for Terica.
Telepathy.
Yep. You loop. 6.
So there is a barrier. You cannot get out of jump space. Right? There is no response
I didn't expect
back.
anything else.
Yeah. But the sense that you get, right, is that that jump space is a pocket dimension, and there's no way you could have the range is unfathomable. It doesn't actually make sense within physics.
Yeah.
And so you can't necessarily reach out. Now, of course, psionics also don't necessarily make sense in terms of physics, but you can't get out of
within the
this
bubble,
Yep.
there's no Terica. Admiral?
Yes.
Nothing on the sensors, and I could not connect psionically either.
Well, they're gone.
Could do a physical sweep?
Physical sweep, yes. If you think that is necessary, yes.
Rule out. It would be the last option to rule out. All right. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna go walk around looking for hide or hair of Terica.
Let me know if you
Would
see anything at all.
roll recon for that physical search?
I would love to roll Jack of all trades for you. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. I rolled a
6.
strength Jack of all trades. I should fix that. What stat do you need?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. That's not a stat. Intellect? Education?
Yes. Intellect. Thank you.
Intellect.
Intellect
all
is
right.
wisdom. Pardon me.
There you go. 6.
Same.
Different stats. So I had to. Yeah.
You walk through the ship, which is quiet, in this strange quiet of jump space, where you can hear all of the creaks of the ship, but outside is completely silent. It's a very strange thing. You've experienced this many times, of course. And you walk past the sort of panels on the ship that are that have the missing panel with exposed wiring. the sort of ripped fabric on the cushions, the stained brass works, the sort of flickering lights, the sort of darkness of this sort of fading beauty, and the quietness of it all, the sounds of the grebes. It's empty and a little sad as you walk about. But I do believe this would be when you run into Val and the Harlock. However, I want to roll back and say, Severance, you did ask me something.
Yeah. Do I remember what it was? Not at all.
I don't know. Right when you didn't finish the thought, you just made a sound as if to tell me something, but then you didn't say it.
Perfect. Obviously it wasn't important. I don't remember what it was.
I see you. All right. Quint, you see Val carrying the Harlock. They're both completely soaking wet and somewhat in a state of undress.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was an allergen in the air, so this makes sense. Yeah.
Clearly, medical things have happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Val would not be dismissive, but not be polite, as he would just basically just shake his head no as he carries the Harlock past, heading towards his room.
Just let me know if that changes, and I'm gonna keep doing a sweep. And if I see the area where I'm sure it's not been cleaned up, where the shower and everything is, I'll clean that up as well while I'm at it. I'll tidy that up.
I believe we can probably fast forward a little bit until, let's say, the next day, fresh day. Wesley is going to get on the comms. Hey everyone, where's everyone? I fed the grebes, but Sue's on the bridge. Where's are we having breakfast?
If the Harlock's okay, Val would head towards the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Harlock is stable at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking to heart the getting some rest, so
yeah,
likely doing that.
Val's used to voices in his head, so if you want to tag along that way, that's perfectly fine.
What are we eating? What are we eating? What's going on? Put some Tabasco on it.
No, change that. You're not allowed in there. I changed my mind.
And like Wesley's like the kind of the whole there's a kind of a weird vibe, and the whole everybody's sort of like in their rooms, and like Wesley's just kind of standing around. Oh, I would say that Evan is there setting out breakfast. Karine has a knife and is just like has already eaten like 2 or 3 portions of breakfast, but otherwise it's pretty empty. And Wesley's on the bridge, kind of just wondering where everybody is.
Val would go in there and acknowledge Sue, because I'm assuming Sue's still been, at the lighthouse, so to speak, on the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, he would probably say something like, Sue, do me a favor. Your watch is ended. I'll stick around up here. Just go back and watch the Harlock and just hang around the room.
All right. No one will harm the Harlock. And the suit like has to move slightly sideways. It kind of basically doesn't really walk, but sort of like hovers sideways down the hallway to get back into your room with a lot of weaponry to make sure that the Harlock is not harmed.
As the suit passes by Val will almost unconsciously like raise his hand up and get a high five from Sue. Sue. Wesley.
Hey, where's Terica?
We had a problem last night.
Yeah.
Terica's not on the ship.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean?
It doesn't make any sense. They, you know how we've had people blink in and out? Had the Harlock disappear. We told you about when Severance disappeared. It's
Right, I
happened
don't
to
quite.
Terica. I don't understand it either, Wesley. It's
Well,
they're gone for now.
but we have to find them, right? I mean, because we can't.
We are.
I mean,
Wesley, I'm gonna share something with you. And he closes the bridge door.
what's your favorite Crash Jones story? And like you can tell, Wesley's getting nervous, just like, uh-oh.
Wesley, it's me.
Okay.
You love Terica, right? Then I trust you. Do you believe me?
Okay.
We're gonna get them back. And it might have to be messy. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I guess. He says, I
need you to-
guess, but you can tell he's like remembering the
I need
pirate.
you to promise me something, Wesley. You have to swear it. Like Crash Jones swore.
What?
You never get messy like that unless you have to. Do you understand?
Yeah. Terica said it wasn't you who did it, though.
It was me, Wesley.
Terica said it was
Terica,
somebody else who did it.
Terica believes the best in everybody.
Well,
I'm being truthful with you. Sometimes you gotta heal and sometimes you gotta hurt.
but
That's the way of things.
if you did it, that means that you are Zodani.
I'm not. I'm not.
But Zodani are the ones with psionic powers to mind control you?
There aren't just two things in the universe, Wesley. There's not just those like Crash Jones and those like the Zodani. I'm somewhere in between. I'd like to think I was closer to Crash Jones, but who's to say?
But I always figured you were a hero, and you just killed that guy. And he was screaming, and it smelled real bad, and
It did. It was. Ask me if that hurt me, Wesley.
did it hurt you?
Not in the least.
But you killed
Wesley,
somebody.
that's why I don't. Wesley, that's why I don't want you to ever get messy in business like that unless you absolutely have to. Because once you do, you'll stop caring too.
Can I fix you somehow? Like, I mean, Terica might know something, and there's got a way to be a way to fix it.
This is between you and me, right?
Yeah.
That was the promise, right?
Yes,
That's the
cross
trust.
my heart.
You're already starting to fix me, Wesley. You know, I hadn't thought about Crash Jones for years. You know, I actually read one the other night.
Did you? Which one?
Yeah. It's the one with the worm in it, that one that lives underground.
Yeah.
I didn't have the cover.
I think that was Crash Jones and the Viridian Caves of the Sandworm.
I'll take your word for it.
They were psionic, those worms. I think they flew through space. It was pretty strange. Oh, yeah. Baron Winter was making his plots and everything.
That's right. I'm going to need your help, Wesley. Do you know why?
No.
You know how we talked about there aren't two types of people? There's not somebody that's just Zodani, and there's not somebody that's just Crash Jones.
Yeah.
Well, you're as damn close to Crash Jones as you can get. That's why I need you. You're going to see things that I've forgotten. We have to get them back.
Yeah.
No matter what.
But where could they have gone?
It's time to put on our thinking caps. We got to be detectives. We got smart people on this boat. We got to use every ounce of what they know. We got to make ourselves a map.
Okay. You know, if we had a emerald, right?
Yeah.
The Viridian tiger, like Crash Jones would have, then we could sniff out Terica.
You know what, Wesley? That is a hell of a good idea. Sue?
Hello? How can I help? And you just hear Sue's voice.
Sue, above all else, whose suggestions do you listen to above everybody else?
Why, yours, of course.
I'd like to add a name to that.
All right. Which authorization? How close in the circle? Alpha 1. All right. Well, who is this Alpha 1?
Wesley.
All right. Added. Wesley, welcome to Alpha 1. What's that mean?
Sue will listen to you. If something happens to me, you've got to guide Sue. But
okay.
He'll listen to you now, Wesley.
Okay.
He's a great resource. He is a good friend. He knows a lot. 3 of us and everybody else on this boat are going to find Terica.
Okay. Should I just sit in the pilot seat? I'm not touching anything, but...
You want to keep it warm for Terica?
Yeah.
I think you're the best person for the job, then.
I was talking to Kareen. No, I won't touch anything. I was talking to Kareen. She was asking me a lot of questions.
About what?
If I saw anything. Kind of felt like a bit of an interrogation, but she wanted to find out what was going on, and I didn't know. I suppose I should tell her.
You may do whatever you wish. But when we're talking about Terica and we're talking about our mission, we're talking about this case. Only me and you, Sue, and Severance.
Okay. And Wesley slides into Terrica's chair and very purposely, sort of bandaged hand, does not touch anything. Just sort of looks at all the lights.
Val turns to leave, but then stops at the door and looks back. Wesley?
Yeah.
Do you know what a lighthouse is? You ever seen one?
No. Are they like a house full of lights?
Sort of. They sit beside water, oceans, seas. Big tower with a light on the top. And at night, it tells the boats that they're getting close to shore. It keeps them from running aground.
We didn't have any oceans on my planet.
That's a shame.
Rivers? Lots of rivers, though.
Rivers are good. I need you to be my lighthouse, Wesley. Don't let it get too dark.
Okay. And he feels it, and like he has a little flashlight, and you can just see that he has it, and he just like puts it back in his pocket, and you can see that he doesn't seem to quite get the metaphor, but he's trying to work it out.
Val would smile at that little movement. Just like that. Just like that. And then he'd leave.
My friends, you have a week in jump space before you might emerge. I would like to ask what you all want to do in that week.
Baron Severance, I think, is taking a good chunk of time either in sensors or plugged into the sensors with his tablet, and he is trying to look over security footage, specifically of the time Erica blinked out of. What does that look like?
Interesting. That's an interesting thing that you're doing. And you keep looking at this sort of ritualistically, like you don't just look at it once, you look at it multiple times. It's a bit of a...
Trying to study the at some ways, you kind of drag, I'll assume, a future-ish, 70s future. I'm going to drag...
Your audio is low.
Low,
for me.
low.
I don't know about anybody else. It's like you're on the wrong mic. Do you know what I mean?
Weird. Hold on.
Sounds like you're underwater a little bit.
Yeah.
That's weird. Is it any better?
Well, if you quit being underwater, I think it would help.
Yeah.
It's not any better. Okay, hold on. I just think this microphone's screwed up. I did this. Is this any better? No, because you hear everything. Sucks. Hold on.
Just got a little better.
You're louder, but you're still really muffled.
Yeah, it's like you're not crisp.
Not so crisp. How about now? Is this a little better? A little better?
Yes, it is.
How do you still?
It's
too low. I don't know. You want me to steal third? Don't know yet. Okay, great. Hold on.
Can I get better?
Now is this better at all?
Yes, we're getting there.
This is different than every other week.
Yes, it is. This is a different vibe.
Ooh, I don't like
I was
that.
running through audio stuff recently myself. I'm gonna want 2 rolls from you, by the way. One is your sensors, a sensors roll, communications, electronics, and I would also like a psionics roll. But what
sensors, and
skill?
psionics.
Yeah, I want just a regular sensors roll, and I want a psionics roll. Do you have any weird skills?
I have clairvoyance, I have teleportation.
I feel like you have something else, though, don't you? Don't you have like an ancestral memory situation?
Well, I do have ancestral memory, but it's not here. Where the hell would I put that? Oh, I do. It's on my skills. Yeah, I do have ancestral memories.
Yeah. Could you roll ancestral memory, but based on psionics?
Yes. You want sensors? Where the hell is that?
It's like electronics, I believe.
Electronics?
I think it's electronics.
I have comms and remote ops. Or electronics.
Yeah, just roll the base then.
Sorry, the mic. I don't know what's going on. I rolled that.
Oh.
I rolled 11.
Oh, that's good. And then can I get your ancestral memory?
May. Not as good.
You need an 8.
I need an 8?
That's a 7. And really, a 9 is better because an 8 is a marginal success, but which means it has a downside, light downside.
I have 3 luck, and I don't know where it came from. I had 1 this whole time. I will use 2 of my luck.
Okay.
Make it 9.
So, for your electronics, you're going through the footage. You're watching that entire conversation over and over and over again. And you see this handoff, and as the handoff is happening, they blink out of existence. And you just watch that over and over again. And as you're watching it, you notice that there's like it seemed as if the packet of drugs splits in the moment of teleportation, right? As if you see Val having these drugs, but you also see Tarika blinking out with them at the same time, as if sort of like a kind of a strange split happened. And it made you think about when you instinctually teleported and you lost your clothes, and then the harlot came back with them. It's like it seems like that, and you notice a little bit of like the drugs themselves, the packet, there's like a little brief glow in that one moment of disappearance, like right at that moment. So ever so slightly, as if the drugs themselves were reacting in some way to what was happening in that moment. But the more important thing, though, is the ancestral memory. These are the memories of the body that you inhabit, a bit more so than your own. And you remember dying, but not the time that you killed yourself, but it's just like a general sense of dying. And then you remember waking up in a pod, stepping out, and there were clones in pods, and stepping over, you remember this lab, and you remember this as if you've done this many a time, right? And you step over to this large computer bank, you press buttons, you check yourself, and you're wearing clothes. None of the clones have clothes on them, and you don't think that you did, but now you do. You seem to have come into a new body, and you sort of test it, and you sort of go in and put electrodes on yourself to make sure that everything is all right. And off on the side, you can see these cages, and there are people in them. Most of them are human, but not all of them are human. One of them isn't human at all. One of them looks small, with big eyes and wings, leathery wings, clearly some sort of alien. You, Severance, don't know this alien, but the body you're in does know it. You've seen it before. It's a tick-tick. You step over to it, and you seem to be very pleased that you have caught one. and you can hear yourself saying something about considering how psionic they are, how useful this one will be, and then you stab it, and it bleeds, and the blood sort of drains into this piece of Viridian, and you think there's a Zodani in one of those cages as well, and you just remember briefly this sort of, you torture this creature for some time, ripping off skin, and all of this sort of feeds into this piece of Viridian. And you see that Val, Sue, you see just like this sort of Sue. Was it Val? No, it was Sue. Just like a little brief moment of Sue in this piece of Viridian. But you know that wasn't memories from you, not the body. And then you remember a lab. And this is the lab that you've seen before with all the Terikas. Different lab, a different place. And in this moment, the Terikas are growing. They're not finished yet. They're in different states of growth. You have a sense that this is being set up for later. You can tell that you're sort of putting the lab together, making sure all the pieces are working, that this escape pod system is functioning. And you know that there's a lab, and you see in the cages, the cages are not completely full, but there are, the only creatures in those cages are tick-ticks. They're full of tick-ticks. And you just remember that in the other lab, you seem to be lucky to have one because they're very hard to find. And in this one, you have all of them. You seem to have been a place where you could just get them easily, capture them easily, torture them, kill them and feed their life essence into this piece of Viridian easily. You know they're not easily found. There's only one planet where you can find them. The Tick-Tick. That's the planet. That's because they don't leave that planet. So this lab, you know, must be on Tick-Tick or right around it. Probably on Tick-Tick, since they don't leave that planet. And you just torture, you just remember torturing them and hearing their screams in your mind and laughing.
Ah, I see.
And feeling powerful. And also somehow as if you're getting revenge in some way at people who are beneath you. You know, it doesn't feel great. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of feelings in the bones of your body that are arrogant, self-important, powerful, like everyone respects you. Everyone has to respect you, as if you are just so much better than everyone else. And no one really. Nobody matters but you.
Well, that's per usual. We are in a jump towards Acis.
That's
right?
correct.
We can't interrupt our jump and go. So we have to finish this jump to Acis, and then we can maybe go one sector up to. Okay, just for those who can't see the map, we're two hexes away. One hex above Acis is Tick-Tick, so that's not entirely too far. But okay, how's my mic? Is it still being weird?
It's better. It's better. It's a little dusty, but it's better.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is. So weird. I bet you it's the microphone. This is a used microphone, and I wonder if all these years it's just shitty. It sucks because, like, to me, it sounds great, but I think the broadcast is a separate whatever. Anyway, it's annoying.
My dear audience, the Gambler's on its way to Acis right now.
From number one.
From number one, and this here is Tick-Tick, which is a planet that people are just generally do not go to because it doesn't have it's got a terrible they're these strange little gargoyle like aliens on that planet. People are not supposed to go there. But it's very close to Acis, as it turns out. And it might be a place where sort of perhaps psionic creatures, very old, people think they're very ancient, creatures live.
And when you say very ancient, are you saying this as some sort of buzzword in the beginning of the episode? Probably.
Maybe.
And okay,
yeah.
Good. Okay.
People don't really know how old they are, but they are a very, very old species, and people don't really think of them as being particularly intelligent. But that's because people are the way they are. But they are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will. I think while this is probably still, I think while I have this vision, like I've been watching the same like maybe 30 seconds or so for the past however many hours of trying to study this. But I think this time, because of the vision, a couple of minutes go by, and now I'm watching us start to panic, and I think, not panic, but of course us. I think we hear, and maybe that's what takes me out of it, is me hearing myself feeling that sense of worry, and maybe that like unconfident waver in my voice of like, "We're gonna come and find you. We will get you out of here." And then also that same iteration or that same moment where Severance speaks to Quint and says, "Well, go look through scans. Get out of here. Go to the bridge. Like I can go to the bridge. Well, then go." I think that whole maybe that is where like where this episode started. I think is probably where that may snap him back.
Yeah.
And then realize, and he presses pause on the footage, and then he just sort of, I think he takes he unplugs the from the sensor board, his tablet, and he makes his way over to the bridge. I would assume probably happening at the same time that Val is talking with Wesley. So I think I know the door is closed. I don't know if Val would have locked the door. Have this
I don't think it was locked, but it was closed. Also, your mic's fading back out.
fading back out because I'm talking away from it. We don't know. I have no idea what is happening. This is annoying. Okay, let me
Better?
see.
Just like eat that mic. You know what I mean?
I'll just get this close to it.
Oh, not much. Better? Give me more. Just project more.
It was actually a little bit better when you were on the side of it that's facing your camera.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't that be hilarious if the diaphragm was in a different spot this whole time? It's not. Okay, that's anyway. Okay, I will just do this then. Maybe this is too much, and it is rattling my. What if I did this? Hello? No, we don't know.
I'm
sorry.
Watching your distance.
Yeah,
it's like there's a sweet spot you need to be at that I don't know quite where it is.
Yeah. Well, I'll figure it out. I usually always speak super close to it. There's a very good chance it needs to be farther away, which is probably why it sounds so crappy all the time because I've got horrible mic microphone. But I will make my way to the bridge. Doors open. I will open that.
And right when the doors open, Val is on his way out. Like it's you're about to go onto the bridge, and Val's walking right out of the bridge.
Val, I need you. Wesley, oh God, you're here as well. You as well. You will both know how to pilot this ship, yes?
I'm not a pilot.
Know how to pilot the ship, yes?
Yes.
You lost our pilot, Wesley. I'm sure you have made him aware. Val?
Yes. I also said that we're going to find Terrica.
I hope we do.
No, there's no hope about it, Severance. We're going to find Terrica.
Good. That is the spirit I like to hear. I have also, I I wish I could explain better, but the quality of my duration is questionable. We need to make our way towards
Tick tick.
it is, where is it? Pull up the star map.
It pulls up the star map. Whoop. And actually, that was Sue who did it.
Oh, yeah. I see pull up the star map, and before even anybody says anything, she's already done it.
Severance, why do we have to go there?
I've had a vision, and I also had a second vision. And I know before you go, well, Simon's had a vision. We need to change our plans. I've had a vision before already of Terrica, and it was a dream like. I don't think visions likely. Of a laboratory, a facility, if you will, with many copies and iterations of the same Terrica. Also had the same dream as if it were of my own. Of course, you don't know why that.
We're going to
I'm
tick tick
certain if
then.
this is the place, but it is a good start. If it is just if it is my traumatic mind filling a face on where other figures of my image would be, so be it. Place to start. And
Severance, you don't have to convince me of this. You're the only one that has the scent to something like this. This is beyond the Harlock. This is beyond Quint. This is beyond me. You're the closest one. You've experienced this before. If you're saying we're to go there, then I'm going to believe you. If it is incorrect, then we'll take that matter up at that time.
You're the admiral.
Tick tick it is.
Unfortunately, though, I'm uncertain. I've not done many jumps. I have done jumps, but I've not navigated through many. We have to complete this one to then turn tail to a different sector. Yes.
Yes, we need to refuel too when we get there, I believe.
Yeah.
Then we will check off the boxes we need to, but we will make our way towards Tick Tick when we can. Tick Tick is a very interesting planet. Do you know of it?
No.
We could look it up on the travelers. You know, the scouts. They've got. We could just look up what they know about it. I mean, we're
Probably
Wesley,
best
I'm putting you on this. You and Sue.
okay.
Everything you can find on it.
Okay. All right.
All I know is they may be a primitive planet that doesn't. They aren't very. They aren't spacefaring. The D on the on our sector. Does that mean that is their tech level, or that is there's a gas giant which I see on. There's a star. I don't know. There's a star there?
So it's got so that kind of
Remember
data
what?
that's on your map is stuff that is in the database. People like Quint got that data.
No,
The D is the level of its starport, and that is not good. That means it does not have refined fuel. It does not have a high port. It probably doesn't it's not good. That's a bad.
I'm picturing we're going to Dathomir. Like Tick Tick is Dathomir. And yeah, like just like that Dathomir. Or like weird gargoyle people, golem winged people, Dathomir. But there is a starport, but not great. Probably
It's
not.
a bad one, yes.
It's probably not like a local starport. It's probably someone built it for them.
Trooper, technically, if we would fuel up at Acis, we wouldn't have to fuel up at Tick Tick, correct? We would just be able to fly in there because it's only one.
Fly in there and fly back, right?
And we could fly right back and refuel. So we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
If we have to fuel at Acis, and then we can.
We could jump there, jump back, and refuel at Acis again. Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that shit.
Take this side quest.
Yeah.
Or
we could take the side quest.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this question. I want to know for this week in Jump Space, Val, what are you doing?
I have been talking too much, and Val will do what he needs to do when we've got about 12 hours left in Jump Space. I will let you know this. It involves low birth. Before that, he will be studying his. I mean, obviously, he's going to be helping Wesley. They're going to be making their board and getting everything up, and putting their information together. But then he'll be studying his vac suit and things like that. But
are you going to do your? I mean, I'm assuming everyone's going to be doing like a week of training. But are you going to do the genetic testing on the drugs?
Yes. If I have to sacrifice the vac suit stuff, I will.
It won't. This is a thing that you can get going. Like, it's one of the things that's not going to take up all that space. It will not mess up your training time. But could I get a medical roll based on education with a bonus?
A bonus, or okay?
Yeah, you get a boon for this one.
Oh, I get a boon. Okay, I like boons.
Yes, you
much
do.
better.
I'm afraid.
I'll take that. Medical education with a boon. Here we go. How's a 15?
Oh, yeah, that's not great for you. Yes, you are able to do some genetic testing on this. There is indeed genetic material. Genetic material has been infused into this drug, probably by whoever made it. If you were wanting to maybe track down who was the evil mastermind who made this drug, the presence of genetic material might be helpful to figure out who did it, who is the person that probably the Imperial Navy would really like to get their hands on. There is Zodani genetic material in there. You have no matches for whoever that might be. That's unclear to you. It does seem that this genetic material might in some ways be relation to the Harlock, but it is not the Harlock's genetic DNA, but maybe somebody within their family line. You're not quite certain, like, doesn't seem like a very close person. Like, that's a little bit vague. The Soleimani genetic material, interesting. It's yours.
It's mine?
Yep, it is yours.
When you're ready, we're going to low berth, Trooper. Everybody else can do their shit.
Yeah, no, it's yours. Yeah, it's yours. I guess you made the drugs. I guess that's what the authorities would think. If they had these drugs. I'd probably bet you did. Because, where else would that genetic material have come from? I don't know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know who was carrying the drugs before, and they've got a chance. We'll see.
Hey, Quint.
Oh, hi there.
Hi. What are you doing this week in Jump Space?
Well, I've got more free time, actually, with Terica not being here. Shocker, I know. And, it's fine. Training, obviously, training. And then, gosh, Wesley's real busy this week because I'm also teaching Wesley how to reupholster things and, like, that kind of stuff. I'm working on the cosmetics interior of the ship. Lots of keep busy kind of stuff. So training,
absolutely.
Spending some time in doing my silks and things, and then fixing up the aesthetics of it. Because when Terica gets back, because they'll get back, right? They'd be really happy to see that the interior looks more fixed up. And we got all those cosmetic materials, which are currently taking up units until we use them to fix the ship.
Yes, that
so
is correct.
I'm going
That
to
is
use
correct.
some of those units with Wesley and teach Wesley how to do some of this interior stuff. Yeah, that's my week. Very busy. Keep him busy. Yeah.
It's good times. It's 8 hours per cosmetic unit. So you could use with 2 people, you could get like basically 14 units worth of work done, of cosmetic work done.
Hell yeah. I'll check off some of that stuff. Yeah.
Please do. And the Harlock, what about you? What are you doing this week?
So, a lot of resting, I would imagine. But I was thinking, during that time, I think she's actually going to work on her clairvoyance. Because that's something one can do while resting. And I think, in addition to, would be like trying to push out a little bit further, because she doesn't know necessarily about the conversation that happened with about Tick Tick and all this. So she's still just trying to be like, okay, this direction, yes, no, this one, am I feeling any vibes from over here? And like in that process of improving her abilities in the clairvoyant area, like just pushing just a little bit further every time.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, my friends, our week will pass. There will be people doing work, training, fixing the ship, going over our logs, and it is a week in jump space. And as we are getting, you never exactly know when jump space is, you will emerge from jump space. It's always a little give or take. Could be a little bit earlier, could be a little bit later, but we never are quite certain. And I believe that our doctor, about 12 hours before we emerge from jump space, is going to head down to low berth. And as you are heading down to low berth, the alarms blare. You are emerging from jump space.
Well, shit.
Well, you do have travel time, but you emerge a little bit earlier. If you recall correctly, you all did really well on your rolls to navigate and to get the drives working. So you actually come out earlier than you thought you would. And you come out right in this moment when you're right about to get to the low berth. Now, I will note that you still have travel time. When the bubble starts to emerge, you have some time. The alarm goes and saying like, oh, we're heading out. Basically, it's a time for all hands on deck. You all went into jump space from a dead stop rather than at full speed, which means when you emerge from jump space, you will not be moving at full speed and maybe just hit an asteroid. It's never a good idea to go into jump space at full speed because you never know what you're going to find when you hit the other side. But this is the moment when you are emerging, and we are going to go to break at this moment, except we're going to start with the welcome pack video, the hologram that comes, because you were actually not that far. You're not that far from Acis, and the welcome packet is on a relay, and the welcome packet hits your ship, and each one of you gets access to the welcome packet for the planet of Acis, which you all, my lovely crew, may watch your video now, and my dearest of audiences, I am going to play for you the welcome packet for Acis, and then we'll go directly into break, and when we come back, we will find out what they'll do with this information. My friends, welcome to Acis. Travelers, the Acis Central Authority welcomes you to the jewel of the Florian Main and the breadbasket of the Dupre subsector, Acis. As you are approaching Acis City Highport, please take time to acquaint yourself with our system. Acis is one of the most continuously settled planets in all of the Dust Belt. Our breathable atmosphere, pleasant climate, and active biosphere has made it a welcoming home to humans for over 2,500 years when it was initially settled by Soleimani colonists. Our capital, Acis City, boasts an advanced and well-patrolled starport, with both a high port and a downport that not only have all of the expected amenities, but it can also build, repair, and service a wide variety of spacecraft, including naval capital ships. Indeed, while we are an agrarian world, we are also technologically sophisticated, having some of the most advanced medical technology in all of the Trojan reaches. Acis is a beautiful planet with island beaches and wonderful hiking in mountains and forests. We of the Acis Central Authority do ask that travelers while here be aware of and respect the unique culture of our people and our political circumstances. We are a world that regiments and organizes all elements of our society in order to ensure stability, freedom, and individualism for all. So that you may help us keep Acis flourishing, we would like you to be aware of the most pressing legal regulations and customs visiting travelers should know. Military and military-style weapons, including light assault weapons and submachine guns, are prohibited. Concealed weapons are prohibited. Military-style armor is prohibited. You may have shotguns, stunners, and bladed weapons with a permit, though we do ask you to be thoughtful about which weapons, if any, you decide to carry with you as you move about our world. While you may certainly carry your hunting shotgun into the outback, please do not brandish it in one of our cities. Please do give your pronouns, or lack thereof, to others when introducing yourself while here on Acis. Please do not assume that while we might use the same pronouns as you do on your world, that they mean the same thing here as they do in your own culture. And if it has been some time since you last visited Acis, please do not assume that any Acician's pronouns or gender will be the same as it was the last time you saw them. In addition, we have an honored population of new Aslan communities and settlements here on Acis. Some of them are allies from the glorious empire who aided us in our fight to free ourselves from the violent oppression of the Tyrian lordships. Some of them are guests from the Aslan Hierate. We understand that the glorious empire and the Aslan Hierate are currently in the midst of an ongoing military conflict, but those struggles are not carried here to Acis. Also not carried here is the glorious empire's practice of slavery, and those Aslan who live with us on this planet embrace our practices and policies of freedom through bureaucracy. We dearly appreciate our trading partners from the Aslan Hierate and our mercenary allies from the Glorious Empire, and we can confidently assure all traders who come to our system that here they will be able to trade with safety and confidence. Conflicts outside our system will stay outside our system. Acis will be your oasis. Additionally, we have a special message from the Acis Central Authority to all travelers from other Dupre systems. Acis was the first world that freed themselves from the Tyrian lordships. And not only did we free ourselves from these oppressors, we also took the fight back to their home planet. Dupre is a safer subsector for all of us, due to the heroic actions that began in 1083 when the great Acician heroes aboard the Tyrian Caesia-class destroyer Vulcan mutinied and began the end of the Tyrian lordships. With the Tyrian lordships broken, it is now time to rebuild, and Acis is ready to lead the Dupre subsector into the future. And with that in mind, we are very happy to announce some wonderful news. Acis has recently brought online and will continuously restock a well-armed refueling station in the Ace system, uniting the Sindalian Spur with the rest of the Dust Belt for all of those worlds like ourselves with only Jump 1 capable ships. This will equalize so many of our less technologically advanced systems, putting all of us within reach of a brighter and more developed future, heretofore only reserved for the great Imperial and GD-Co trade convoys that would pass by our homes regularly. And we here at Acis would like to develop together with any Dupre system that desires to partner with us for a better future. As our Solomani ancestors might have said, the Acis Central Authority welcomes you to our home, y'all. This message will be repeated in Troch for our Aslan travelers. And we are back. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your welcome packet video for the planet of Acis, which is the breadbasket of the Dupre subsector. It is not part of the old Trojan Reaches. You are now in a brand new subsector that is different than the last one, has different sort of politics, but nonetheless, there are still things to ponder. So, as we come back, have come out of jump space.
Is this where Val's from?
And it's like it.
This isn't where Val's from.
No.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up because I did
so
want
welcome.
to mention something. Yes, thank you. So, I wanted to just paint a picture for you all. And first off, I'm going to need a sensors roll. Because when you emerge from jump space, you need to make sensors so you know that there are no pirates out to get you. Do you know what I mean? Or like you're not going to be ambushed.
I feel like I was
Willen
closest
says
to sensors, but
if you've got to have electronics, somebody with
I do have
electronics.
electronics.
If you have sensors, that's even better. But if you don't, you can still do it.
If we have sensors, let's do it. But I will do it otherwise.
Does somebody have electronic sensors?
I have electronics 0. I have electronic computers 1.
Yeah, I thought somebody did.
Computer 1 too.
Hey, perfect. So it was Terica. All right, let me.
It was Terica. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me just roll it off their sheet. Let me roll it because I was there last, so I feel like it makes sense that I would.
Yeah.
Utilize mine. I have comms
Willen
and
says
remote
that
ops.
Severus told Val about the vision with the Tericas.
Hey,
So
you are amazing.
Willen is amazing.
Wow.
Well, now I got to tell Val, so everyone gets to tell Val.
There's a reminder of Val. Okay,
what
here it
twins?
is.
What clones? I don't
Yeah, everybody knows but Quint.
It's fine.
Right.
we can title the series.
Good 8.
You're a spy.
You'll find out.
Was a spy.
Yeah, whatever. That's what a spy would say.
I mean, maybe everybody trusts you. I don't know. So, my friends, as you emerge from jump space, and Val is right now in the low berth, right? Everybody else has sort of taken their stations. Although, actually, Val, when you're coming out of low berth, especially since you're coming out of jump space, especially since you're shorthanded, do you make your way up to the bridge? It tends to be a bit of an all-hands-on-deck situation.
He's going to tell Sue to go to the bridge.
Mm-hmm. All right. I need to send...
Now, wait, no. Trooper, let me correct something real quick. When we come out of jump space, there's not like any immediate piloting stuff that needs to be done, correct? It's more like we're
Unless you're going to be attacked by pirates.
True, but we are
just
at
that,
a
like,
halt.
Jumping out of jump space is that very vulnerable moment because if people are waiting at the jump point to ambush you, then it could be a
with that welcome
thing.
package, I'm pretty confident that the local marshals have this place locked down.
I kind of like the scene of us like waiting around for Val to show up in the deck to like be the pilot, and then just never shows up. You know, where we're like,
I'll be along. I just need about 10 minutes.
Yeah, at some point he'll be here, and then we'll drop out, and then it'll be fine. But like we're just sort of waiting around, but you're like, it's fine, and then you just never show up until like 10 minutes after we're out of it. Like, well, good thing nothing happened. Because it could have been really bad.
See how it all works out, right?
Yeah.
So let me paint the picture, and I'm going to be picking on Val a little bit later once he actually gets up to the bridge. But you emerge from jump space, and I created a page for you for number 1. And I made the same page for Acis. So the thing about, if you remember, number 1 sucked because it was within the shadow of the star, and it was a pretty big star. When you arrive in the Acis system, Acis has 2 stars, Galatea and Polyphemus. And they're like these beautiful big stars. And if you'll notice, Acis is right outside of outside of the shadow of the star. So when you arrive, you are not at all far from Acis. With the speed of your ship, you can get to Acis from where you're at in about 2 hours. Like, it's really quite close, very convenient. And when you emerge from jump space, and I'm going to just note this, our dear Val is not seeing this at the moment because he's down in low Earth. Val is not from this planet. He's from a planet called Acis, which is a very small, very remote agricultural planet quite far away from here. And as a matter of fact, I can show you all. Let me get to our subsector map for our amazing audience, and I can actually bring the lovely cast here as well. Let me get all of you and bring you to our sub. I'll bring you back to Acis in a moment. Here we go. You're all here. So, because I'm bringing this up for very specific reasons, because I want to talk about Val while he's not here on the bridge for a moment. So here is Drinax on our system map. And here is Acis, which is this very small little agricultural planet. It's got a level B starport because that starport was built by GDCO. And GDCO, when they build a starport for you, also demand that they have a seat in your government, which is great for them. But it's no longer a GDCO starport because when Drinax invaded Acis and kicked out the people who were in charge of Acis, who were not very nice, they also kicked out GDCO. But Acis is this little planet right here that is right next to this Aslan world, but the Aslan don't go to Acis, not generally speaking. And so where Val is from is sort of in the middle of nowhere because Drinax is also in the middle of nowhere. Drinax, by the way, is within its jump shadow. So like Drinax is actually not on any kind of trade route. People don't go there. People think the entire place is basically dead and empty. And our dear Val has not really traveled. He's not traveled like everybody else in this crew has. So he's not ever really seen a place like... And I will note the places you've been so far have not been places that are... The places you've been so far have been places that have been destroyed by war, where all the technology is busted and you've got really gross starports and everybody's like riding jeeps. Like he's not seen the stars in person. He's not been very far. He's mostly been on Acis and Drinax. That's where he's been. Traveling out with you all has brought him out of that small little cluster that he's been. And now you all have left the Tlayawaha subsector, the Sindal subsector, and you're moving into Acis, which is basically the first planet you'd come to when you get into the Dupre subsector, which is not part of the old Drinaxian Empire. And this place is a modern planet. It has also dealt with war, but when you arrive, when you emerge out of jump space, just like 2 hours with your ship, a regular ship would take between 4 to 3 hours to get to the planet itself. But when you emerge, it is a good thing you are not going at full speed, because when you emerge, there are 3 or 4 other ships also in this immediate area. They are either on their way to the 100 diameter jump line so they can jump out, or they've just jumped in as well. So your successful scans, Severance, lets you see all of these ships that are they're close for space purposes, and you can see little asteroids. You can see the entire space of the world around you, and there are a lot of ships in this system, and the planet is not far away. It won't take you very long to get there, and there are these beautiful stars, and you see like a pretty massive imperial. As you're sort of coming in, you see a flotilla. You see 6 or 7 smaller, well, they're not that small, they're bigger than you all, but 6 or 7 trading ships being flanked by 2 Imperial cruisers, and you see them jump out. It's a trade convoy. And it clearly had stuff on it because it was being guarded by the Imperium. And sometimes if it's important, if they're Imperial ships that are important, they'll have these convoys. But this is clearly a space where people are coming in and out. There's quite a lot of traffic. And out there in the distance, a couple of just 2 hours away, is this planet Acis. There are a number of planets around here, most of them just not actually inhabited. There are moons. There are certainly places you could stash your stealth shuttle. But you are in a world that is actually on a trade route that people go through. You're not at Thebes or Marduk or Ogma or some of these kinds of places that are kind of sad. You will also note, and none of you are really experts in this. The only people who would be experts in this would be Tarika and Val. But I will say that there are a number of different types of. Oh, actually, no. You know who would know this? Quint would know this. There are absolutely Aslan ships that are jumping in and out of this space as well. You can recognize the design, the architecture of Aslan ships. So you're seeing a number of Aslan ships. You're seeing Imperial ships. You're seeing Reach's ships. It's a busy spaceway. I will note that a lot of their Jump 1 ships, it looks like they're not like super high-tech, massive mega ships, but you get some from the Imperium. But it's a place that is busy. It's busy. It's full of life. And when you arrive out of jump space, luckily you did not die, and you were able to sort of maneuver away from any ships that might be in the area. But you have time and space to fly to this planet. Well, maybe fly somewhere else to ditch your stealth shuttle, fly to this planet and dock. But all around you are just massive, little, small, tiny ships, big ships. It's a very, it's like maybe even, I imagine Severance too, right? A lot of you are not Quint. Quint's from a place that actually has a lot of space travel. But a lot of you are from places that were kind of forgotten and remote, and here's a bustling system full of ships coming in and out all the time. It's what people imagine when they think about, when I say people, I mean people on a seam, what they imagine when they think about like space travel. Here's everything. But Val has never been here to this place, or a lot of places, to be honest. So, what do you all do?
Well, I think initially we need to figure out. I think I really liked what Cord, you were saying about we're all kind of on the bridge, assuming that it's going to materialize, and we're like, okay.
Wait, is that a thing? Is Val doing something down in Lowbird?
Apparently, because he's not here.
We don't know that, but
He's
know
on
that.
a bridge.
I think we'd jump on. The Harlock would jump on probably a comm, be like, Val.
Be right there. Give me 8.5 minutes.
And then turns it off. And I imagine too, just because of the way the week is gone, the Harlock, in probably more like loose, relaxed clothes, maybe he still has like a little bit of like one of those small blankets, kind of just like, much like the awesome patented Lindy blanket.
And by the way, Kareen is at the second turret, just in case, right? Because when we come out of jump space, you might be attacked, and so Kareen is ready to shoot people if necessary.
Very good.
So Wesley, you are needed on the bridge.
And Wesley's there, like you've got everybody except for
how long have you
Evan,
been there?
right? Evan's not on the bridge because Evan is a steward, and basically of the crew, only Evan and Val are not on the bridge. But Evan wouldn't be on the bridge, but everybody else would be.
Yeah, I think so. They're all to Severance would essentially is. So my understanding is we're going to be going to Tick, yes?
Yes, we'll be going, we'll be refueling here, and then we'll be making our way towards Tick. Is that all right?
And kind of looks out the window toward just the bread basket of a planet.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to likely want to see what there is to see here, but I think the
We
sooner we
will.
can retrieve
will.
Terga, the better. It's
Yes, I have. I've had a psychic vision. I'm sure you know what
What?
I'm talking about.
Says all of a sudden, Wesley's like, "What?"
Wesley, just hold
Rewind,
on
Wesley.
to your thoughts.
I had a dream, Wesley. It's what dreams are. I had a dream, and I usually don't listen to them, so I call them psychic visions. But I will be where I saw that. What the hell did I see? I saw a bunch of tick in a laboratory,
Is this?
and I feel like it was on tick. I have a really good premonition about tick.
I believe you.
I know it probably doesn't make any sense.
Was it? What you saw, was it similar to? And kind of lowers the voice. I mean, because everybody is there. I assume they would have mentioned this before, but is it similar to the laboratory I told you about that I saw?
Very same.
Yes. Well, time is going to be of the essence. I don't believe that Terika is going to be in good sorts waking up in such a place. I can tell you, as many things as I've seen, as many places I've been, it stuck a thorn in my side.
If they ought to be anywhere, it would be there, but that is quite me being superstitious, and I'm not a superstitious type. Likely they are gone. I don't understand why they would be, but I don't understand why they would have left us in jump space. No one has to survive jump space, but if they were to survive jump space, then this would be the place they would be.
Well, my assumption, and again, this is kind of on the quieter end. Well, my assumption is that likely they will have survived in much the same way that you survived your run-in with the Baron.
Right. That is a possibility. I do.
Their genetics.
Yes, I know that. I do worry that.
Just saying. Wesley, do you have a question?
Like Wesley looks at Quint like, I have no idea what's going on, and looks to Quint to figure like maybe Quint would explain what's going on.
Quint has a very similar look on his face. Like,
I do think if Wesley's doing this, at a certain point, the Harlock turns around. Wesley, do you have a question of some kind?
But he is the Baron, so I don't. You said a run-in with
This
the
is
Baron.
Severance. You know that this is.
he was the Admiral.
But he's Baron Severance, though.
He's also an admiral. He's also the king. He's also an emperor. You know who this is. This is Severance.
That remains to be seen. But of course, Air Admiral, yes. But I will take king if we are.
He goes by many things, but this is Severance. That's what you need to know.
Okay. I did the research that Val asked me to about Tick Tick.
Oh, well, lead with that. What did you find out?
Oh, sorry. So I just looked up the ISS data, and that planet it's got humans on it, but it's also a planet where Tick Ticks live. And he brings up these images of these creatures. And
now, have I scanned that planet before while I was an Imperial Scout? Okay, I was wondering.
You were more on the other side. You have seen Quint aliens that look like this.
Interesting.
This is what. Oh yeah, this is what the droid look like.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that the Tick Tick seem to be shorter than the droid, right? You would think that like a Tick Tick is like
weird look of recognition on Quint's face then of like just a half second of like, huh, interesting, and then paying attention to Wesley's lecture, moving on.
Yeah. and they like the tic-tics seem to be like maybe 1 meter, whereas like the droid can be up to 2 meters. But the tic-tics seem to be like less advanced versions of the droid, perhaps.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Well, so this planet Tic-Tic, it's called a hell world. The atmosphere is very thin and tainted, and it's really hard to live there. They've got a spaceport, just downport. No real good facilities. They've got unrefined fuel. If you are not a streamlined ship, you're not going to be able to land there. Kind of like number one, and it's not a. Oh, I did pick up some when we came in. There was, and he goes through his papers. It was in the news run. A Countess Gray from the Imperium has been saying that the Imperium should interdict Tic-Tic and make it so that nobody can come in or off the planet to help
Have there been any
protect.
steps toward it?
Well, just to protect the people. Protect the culture of the Tic-Tics because there's such a unique and culture that they want to maybe set up a blockade and make it so that no one can come onto the planet. Make it like an amber or red alert zone to protect the culture of the Tic-Tics.
The Harlock
would
would turn real quick to Severance. It's definitely there.
All right.
Do you think there's any other reason why your former companion would set up a blockade?
No.
And for those in the audience who don't remember, the Countess Gray was that woman down on Phoebus who had psionic powers, who was kind of threatening and was trying to set up a coup, and who was a conspirator with the Marymore, and who escaped. It doesn't like this group of people.
She tried to attack me.
She did. She really did. Yep. She did.
We've got some words.
Yeah. Just got some words. And I will also note this is not Imperial space, but the Imperium,
is here.
Everywhere the Imperium goes is Imperial space. Wesley, has there been a blockade formed yet? Have they done anything?
No, it's just in the news. There was some speech by her saying that they had to protect the Tic-Tics because they are like a primitive species and their culture and all of that.
Time is of the essence. This is going to get a lot messier if we wait around too long. And gets back on the comm. Val, are you going to be joining us?
No response.
Turns it off.
Side note, I'm just going to move our camera over. Val, what you doing? They're looking at images at star maps, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I would just like to ironically cut to you. What do we see? Down in the low berth?
Val has brought the remaining low berth adult out of hibernation, but kept them paralyzed like they did before. Not paralyzed; they can feel everything, just can't move. And
yeah.
He's smoking, and he looks down at the woman because again, these are like beds that they're cocked on their sides and they zip open and all that stuff. They're not the fancy dancy ones, but it's pretty good. And he would begin by saying something like this: "You trust that I am serious, correct?"
Yes.
Where did you get the drugs?
This is my partner. She said that you would be in trouble if you did anything to us because we are connected, and we are.
Who are you connected to?
The White Rabbit.
I doubt that.
Oh, do not doubt it. The white rabbit is very dangerous.
Oh, you are right about that.
And we work for him.
Describe him.
You wouldn't understand this, but he's always masked. White rabbit mask.
How literal.
Oh.
Height.
And she describes a height that is similar to yours.
Where's the last place you saw him with his mask?
She looks a bit hesitant to say, and then she says, you know, I'm a member of an organization called the Free Fields.
Oh, you are?
Yes, we are a dangerous organization with chapters all over the Trojan Reaches.
Hmm. That I believe.
And the White Rabbit is a brilliant chemist, freedom fighter, and killer. He's a doctor, medical expert, brilliant. And he will get revenge. And I don't say this to threaten you or to try to save my life.
I understand. These are just facts that you are kindly enough to give me.
Yes.
Does the white rabbit like you? Feel an affection for you? Maybe you're one of his people.
The White Rabbit doesn't feel that way exactly about anyone.
Why?
The White Rabbit has a bigger vision.
So you don't feel any love from them at all? No camaraderie? No companions of purpose?
The White Rabbit is driven and is always focused on the bigger picture and will do anything to get it. The White Rabbit doesn't always tell us everything. It's better that way to keep cells separate from their information.
Right, right. I remember something about
We
that.
were just bringing the package back to Acis.
Who are you going to give it to on Acis?
I don't think that's a good idea for you to know. I'm trying to protect you.
Well, I appreciate the protection, but let's assume I'm stupid.
Let me tell you something about the Free Fields.
Oh,
The Free Fields is an organization that was founded on the
you have 8.5
agricultural planet
minutes.
of Acis, the breadbasket of Dupre. The White Rabbit came to Acis and is going to change everything. It was a while
original.
ago. Well, there's a lot of opportunity for profit. There's a lot of opportunity to reclaim the reaches for the Solomani.
The Solomani.
Yes. The White Rabbit is pure Solomani.
Well, that you are right about.
I know him and you don't. We are to deliver these drugs where they need to be delivered, and I think it would be best if you just let me deliver them. and not
Just
be
let you do it.
involved any
Right.
further.
Does the white rabbit know your name? Know what you look like?
Yes.
Good. Somebody waiting for you at the high port. That
Yes.
maybe not what ship you're coming in, but contact.
Yes. If I don't arrive, it will be suspicious.
Well, see, I'm kind of counting on that, so that's probably a slip on your part.
If I don't arrive, they will come after you. And the entire strength of the free fields will destroy this ship.
Yeah. That is a story. Whew.
It's true.
It's going to be tough going to sleep tonight for me, I'll tell you that. Whew.
I don't think you understand who you're dealing with.
Yeah. That's a funny statement coming from you.
The White Rabbit is one of the most brilliant medical minds in the entire Trojan Reaches, and he can do things to you that you could only imagine in your nightmares.
Oh. That is a high bar. Well, let's see. These kids that you're traveling with, are they just plants to make you look legit?
Yes.
What were you doing with them as soon as you got here? Be honest.
She gets a little quiet.
This helps. Yeah.
She gets a little quiet.
I mean, you weren't going to kill them, right? Were you going to put them in a... sell them off, or...
She just kind of looks away a little bit.
Nice. Well, where did the White Rabbit get them?
I feel like you don't want to have this conversation. The more you know, the less safe you'll be from the White Rabbit.
This is one of those conversations that if you knew what I knew, we'd both be laughing. But it's just me. About these kids, where did he get them?
We got them.
What harm is there in this? Okay, where'd you get them?
We pick up rubes. There are all sorts of children who have dreams of flying through space. They're pretty easy to convince to come along on a great adventure.
Like Crash Jones.
What? Kid stuff? Oh,
You don't know about Crash
Yes.
Jones?
I don't care about things like that.
Got higher standards. Bigger picture.
Yeah.
Free field. Oh, shit, I almost dropped my cigarette. Free fields and all.
Right. Yeah, no, we picked them up. Oh. So, I always think it's funny. You can tell Hicks anything and they'll believe you. Just come running.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have people that, trust. It's the simple folk that do that a lot, I think. The farmers and the... Well, shit, isn't that the people that are supposed to be in the free fields? The agros
Well,
and the farmers?
They're very easily swayed.
Oh, so you all are like the shepherds taking care of the flock. Is that what you all are?
Sure.
And the White Rabbit, he's in charge of the shepherds. He's the Grand Poobah, I guess.
Visionary leader.
Above all others.
Absolutely.
You don't have the first goddamn idea what Free Fields is about.
Oh,
Jesus.
I know exactly what it's about. It's going to build an army that will take over the entire reaches with fire.
Let me ask you a question without this rhetoric and propaganda that you're going to spill out at me. You were talking about how you guys pick up rubes and, you use them. Yeah. You're able to get these
Sure.
kids. They'll believe anything.
Yeah?
Sort of like the two of you dumbasses who were carrying drugs through the system. You don't you don't think you all are the hicks too in this story? That you all aren't being used by the Grand Poobah?
The White Rabbit wouldn't use us because
Look
we...
where you are. Are you in a spot that the White Rabbit would want to be in? I can answer that. You are not.
The White
But
Rabbit...
he was able to use you to get where he needed to be. Just like
he
he used
wasn't
those
using
kids.
us. No, that's different.
Were you volunteering?
We're going to be paid a lot of money.
Oh. How's that money looking right now? Why don't you ask your partner? Oh, shit. Wait a minute. That's going to be a tough get.
I can cut you in on some of the money.
Oh. Okay. How much?
20,000 credits.
Ooh. Geez, oh, Pete's. Free Fields is flowing, huh?
We
Well,
are very well off.
I tell you what. I will pay you 20,000 credits to tell me who you were supposed to meet at the dock.
20,000 was what I was offering you. I'll be making millions.
Oh, you will? Shit. Should we count it before you die? To make sure you got all of it?
Look, I'm trying to help you out.
Okay.
This Acis, is the home of the free fields. It's where it was started.
It's what you were told, sure. And you believed it because you're you. And you got yourself tied up in all this horse shit. So I can assume that you're pretty gullible in that you believe that. Why do you think the White Rabbit wears a mask?
To hide his identity because he's being hunted.
I got 30 seconds.
For what?
I got to be up on the bridge. We're coming in.
Huh. All right. So, here's what I recommend happens. When we get there to Acis, you will transfer the grebes over to me, back to me. And you'll let me and the children go. And I will send the children where they need to go. And I will make sure that you leave Acis safe. And I will transfer 20,000 credits over to you.
Okay. By the way, are you starting to feel dizzy? You should be.
A little.
8.5 minutes is how long it takes for that shit I put in you to kill you.
What? You have an antidote, I assume.
Right? You assumed incorrectly. We are poorly stocked here.
You can't kill me. The White Rabbit will know.
Are things getting blurry?
Yeah. Listen.
Good. You should still be able to hear crystal clear, though, right?
Yeah.
Tongue's going to get thick here in about, should be shit right about now.
Listen, you cannot kill me.
I think I already did. But the kids will be safe. Don't worry about that. And maybe take this with you. You got killed by the fucking White Rabbit.
What?
And he zips her up.
She fades. And that's, I think, when you get your call from the bridge asking when you're going to arrive.
Just a second.
Oh, you're going to be joining us?
Yes. Yep. Just a second. Just a second.
And she turns a very ugly color.
Gotta do this the hard way.
Back on the bridge. Can I get a piloting spacecraft roll from whoever's going to be piloting this boat?
That's going to be someone else.
That's Wesley, baby. Unless
I think it's going to be Quint.
On my way. Give me a second. I'm on my way.
Somebody's got to do it.
Val, we're about to crash into the side of a planet.
Truth, I'll leave it up to you whenever he would
in
get
the
to
distance,
the
you
bridge.
can hear the footsteps like.
Yeah. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, that's a different creature. Val,
Clink, clink.
on the bridge.
Whew.
Oh,
Sorry about
welcome.
that.
Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
sitting here idly for a while.
That's all right. Hey, look, we're still alive. Everything's great.
Hey.
9 minutes. That took 9 minutes.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't hold my breath.
You got
Anyway,
it.
pilot seat's all yours.
The smile would fade from his face when he sits down into Tarika's seat because it's not his seat.
Yeah. Can I get a piloting
What do
roll?
you need? I guess.
Piloting spacecraft if you have that specialty.
I do.
Please, if
Look
you
at
would.
me. Do I get any type of bonuses? Boons?
No, this is going to cover
I do get...
two things.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you're going to need to drop your stealth craft off on an asteroid.
I'm guessing that's me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Drop it
so
off and
I can
come
get
back.
I can get a bonus of 1 with Sue's help, correct?
Yes.
All right.
I just want to let you know, by the way, that woman that you murdered, she was not telling you things because she thought she was in charge of that situation. That was not necessarily the case, but she felt like she had it going on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I rolled that with a
get
boon. Hold on. It's same roll. It'll be the same roll.
Can I get a piloting small craft from Quint?
Certainly. I would love to roll that for
we
you.
give some power somewhere? Should we? And I'm actually I've missed maybe a. Should we give some power, Captain, and maybe even think about disguising as something else for this? What do you think? Our gambler would.
Your mic is off.
I'm doing it again. Perfect. I ask. I don't know how else to help. All right. Should we? Should we power something else and get the holographic hull powered, Captain? I don't see why we need to be the gambler in this. I also don't see why we need to be the gambler in anything unless diplomatically we need.
It's your transponder.
Right, we haven't gotten a different transponder. So it would look different. They'd know everything.
And
we need to go to that pirate place.
Yeah, we gotta go to
that pirate place will get you a fake transponder. Yeah, Thief will get you a fake. That's if you want a fake transponder, that's the place to go.
That's the place to go. All right, cool. Never mind. Never mind. Someday we'll be.
Let us say, with those rolls, you'll be able to drop the ship off on an asteroid and make your way towards Acis. And as you come in towards this planet, you see. You know when you look at pictures of Earth from space and you can see the lights all over the planet from like the big cities? When you look at Acis, there's only one cluster of lights, right? And it's actually pretty bright, but everything else is like almost completely dark. The rest of the planet is almost completely dark. So there's clearly a very sort of intense built up city space right by where the high port is, right? So you've got like a high port and down port that are linked right by. If you're gonna, you imagine like, let's say there may be 5 or 6 major cities and they're all clustered around the center and everything else is probably all agricultural. But as you're moving in...
Is this the biggest like city center area I've been to in several years due to the fact that I was scouting? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm excited then. Cool.
And Val, you have never been you have never been to this planet, no matter what anybody else who might be currently dead has to say. And you have never seen like as busy of a starport as this place in person. And there are ships from all over. And I will just note there are a lot of Aslan ships. A lot. Way more than wherever. Certainly, because Severance was on the other side of the reaches. They're just a lot. And I just want to point out, not for Val, but for other people, people tend to be nervous about Aslan because the whole story about Aslan is they just show up and invade people's places all the time. They just like come in and just invade planets. They just come, right? This is their whole deal. That's what everybody says. Classic cats. So there's a lot of hesitancy and nervousness around the Aslan, but they are clearly welcome in this place. I will also note this is also, you saw the welcome packet. If this were a GDCO starport, you would know it because they would tell you. Yeah. GDCO always has like GDCO all branding all over their welcome packets, and they tend to be the ones who make those welcome packets. So this is not a GDCO port, and it is busy, full, and exciting as you are sort of moving in and given your docking space so that you may come in. And I will also note there's no wait. Sometimes you have to wait a while before you can actually, like there's so many ships, right? But they've got great capacity. There's no waiting. They move you in. It's very smooth. The space station itself is a B-class spaceport, which means it's got a full shipyard. It can build ships, but I will note this. It cannot build jump-capable ships. Only Class A starports can build jump-capable ships. And Can
they fuel it?
Yes, they can.
Okay,
they absolutely can. They can also repair it, right? So they can repair your ship. They can do big maintenance and overhaul. Like they're actually they are in a good space. But I will note that in the Dupre subsector, there is only one planet that has a Class A starport, and that is Tyr, a planet that used to just basically invade everybody in the area. They're the only ones that can build jump-capable ships in this area. Yeah. There
Dupre is this cluster?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Right over here. Tyr. There are some worlds that have been that have asked the Imperium to take over for them. So the Imperium does have a presence in this subsector because they've been asked to show up. Also, the Aslan are just right next door, so that's great. If you just, for the record, and you're going to know this real quick when I tell you, an extension. I need to tell you this so you can know the extension. If you look at this map, here is Acis, which is where you're at, and right here is Aqua Kiai, which is an Aslan world, and it's a 2-jump right into Acis. So trade coming from the Aslan Hierate, if they want to trade in this space, are going to come right through Acis, and you see Aslan ships everywhere. Acis is clearly making huge amounts of money by actually being friendly to the Aslan. But many people find Aslan ships coming into this space somewhat threatening. Clearly Acis does not, but maybe other planets might, because they're just coming right on through. So here you've got this planet that's getting clearly lots of trade, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and I didn't interrupt you there, Trooper, but I would also say that if we were to look at where Drinax is located, a similar situation could be set up with them as well, because we are in the exact same footprint.
It could be. It could be. It hasn't yet because people are basically discounting Drinax as a functioning space. Like you have like 20,000 people who live there. They have like 60 million, right? So like, but it certainly could be. And that could be a great thing if it were to happen. But I will note when you come in and you land and you're given the spot, you hear, greetings. This is Acis City Highport. Welcome the gambler to Acis. We have logged in your ship's records. We have a note about you. By the way, since you've just arrived, I need to make a roll.
A note about me.
This
Right.
first roll here, I'm not going to tell you it is, but everybody, this is option 1. Lucky you. Option 2. Lucky you again. So, we have a note about you. Oh, yeah, you're very lucky. I have to roll to find out if you'll be arrested when you arrive on a planet.
Yeah.
Because your ship is a pirate ship. Anyway, you're not. Don't worry. They don't have anything against you. But the ship says, the tower says, oh, yes, we have a note about your ship on our records. We have been told that you are to be given a conditional discount from Fateatas. This particular Aslan mercenary company has noted your name. And while we are not an Aslan planet, we do have close trading relationships with the Aslan, and we have been given word that you are to be given a 10% discount on your trading here as a sign of our close working relationship with the Aslan Hierate. Welcome to Acis.
Yes, thank you. Just grab. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want?
Oh, no.
That's right, Phantom. Increase the prices 20%. Then give them a 10% discount. That's exactly what just happened.
You were promised a 10% discount on trade goods from that Fatakayu, and this is not Fatakayu's place, but clearly they have a tight enough trading relationship with the Aslan that discount is being honored here.
That's our friend. We have a trading relationship with an Aslan. We have a place they could go. I like how this plan is starting to form out. But I'm gonna have Sue doctor the logs, and both people died from the plague. So
The plague.
you know, it's a shame, but shit happens.
Gonna need
We'll burn up the bodies as
We're
is
so lucky
protocol.
the children weren't infected. You know,
It's a blessing. It's a blessing from God or whoever.
I'm gonna note that the Grebes are very obvious, right? Anybody disembarking with a whole herd of Grebes will be visible for anyone who's wanting to pick them up, because the Grebes are not subtle.
Selling them?
who says we have to unload the Grebes here?
Yeah, we don't have to unload them though. They don't.
Are the children gonna be like, "Excuse me, we need to take the Grebes with us"?
Probably a great place. The giant farm.
Hey, you don't know. These kids have just become Grebe entrepreneurs.
Aren't the Grebes full of drugs though?
No longer.
No
longer.
One of them was a
half the Grebes are dead. And then Wesley goes, I was supposed to go and get my surgery here.
Yes, I'm coming with you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely coming for that.
But Terica became my legal guardian, so I could get permission.
Right.
I'm your medical professional.
There's a small clinic, not in one of the major cities, but out in the outback where they do it real cheap. And
no.
Have you press checked with the major cities hospitals? Is that something you've done?
I'm from a small town. I didn't have access to that sort of thing, but a recruiter came by.
Well, you know we're here now. We can do that while we're here.
Okay, but
shouldn't take half an hour to check make some calls.
But there was a clinic. We had these people come through.
Wesley, why don't we look at both?
Okay.
We'll pick the very best one.
Yeah.
It'll take us a while to get refueled. We're in a line for being refueled. This is not going to take any time away from anything else, but we want to make sure we're doing this right.
Okay. Yeah, it's they said that they'd bring jobs here, and I'm not going to take the job though because I'm staying with you all, if you don't mind.
Of course.
You like to have Terica here?
I would.
I can promise you that they would be, but we have an idea of where they may be, and we need to refuel to go there first. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, if we could go to Tick Tick first before
Right,
I,
that's what I've been trying to say. All right, yeah, that'll be wonderful.
if that's okay, because I'd like Terica here.
We all agree? Aye, yes. All right, great.
Well, as
I
I've been
agree as
saying,
well.
time is of the essence. We need to get there yesterday.
Would we in the queue for the refuel yet? Have we sent out
Can't hear
notification?
you.
Have we sent out a notification? Are we in the queue yet for a refuel?
Yes.
Absolutely. It is so smooth. Like they are. Oh wait, I'm sorry. How do I put this? They are very efficient. Everything is like fast, and Severance,
What's the time
you were
frame on
not.
that, Trooper?
There is no wait. It's going to just take you a couple hours to get the fuel up. And if you remember, so Severance was never on this side of the Raches, so he's never been to this place. But if you remember Marduk, you had to wait a long time. This place is insanely efficient. There is no wait. They start calculating when you come into system, so that when you get here, that everything is ready. You have no waits. You've got to wait for the fuel to actually come in, but they've got refined fuel. They will load you up. You can just get out of here if you want it in a couple of hours. It is one of the most efficient and pleasant experiences you probably could imagine.
Well, let's do that then.
Automatic.
Trooper, I'm going to ask a question that Greg does not know
Absolutely.
the answer to. We've talked about it before on some of these other high ports and some of these other places where they have medical suites that you're able to like rent or procure and outfit however you want. Is there any way that Val could not necessarily perform the surgery himself, with that, but it maybe, I don't know if that's an option, but maybe set something up that he can oversee to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Everything is not being, there's not corners being cut. There's not, you know, medical shortcuts just to, kind of assembly line type of stuff. He wants to make sure that this is as finely done as possible. And I don't know if Val can do it himself. So
yeah, I'm going to ask each one of you to give me a roll. Because you've got, like, if you wanted to leave immediately, you've got about 5 hours or so before everything's be fueled up and gone. Which means from the ship itself, I mean, it's actually, remember it took you like almost a half a day to get to Marduk, and there was really no reason for that?
It also took us forever to get, like 18 hours to get to a jump point from the surface of, so it's just like having this being like, this is how it should be? What, are you kidding me?
Yes, this is what it's like when you've got,
this is crazy.
If you do not leave the ship, you can still do some basic research if you're planning on like picking up and turning around. And so whether you leave the ship or not, I would like each one of you to give me a kind of a roll to tell me what kind of things you're looking for, so I can give you some info and you can decide what you want to do from there. And I think you wanted to know about medical facilities. So if you could give me, Val, a social standing based medical roll to get the the schmooze of the land in terms of medical stuff.
I'm assuming no boon or no bonuses because I don't know this place at all, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I would like one from each person.
Wait, anything?
Anything you want. Whatever kind of information you're looking for, whatever you want to do.
I don't really know what information I'm looking for. I just want to get some gas.
We have to wait for like our cargo to get unloaded, to unload our passenger Marcel who's getting off here. And
unloading. That's what I should be doing. What are we doing here? We are
while you're thinking what you want to roll, Doc, guess what you find out?
Now, before you say anything, can I throw like luck into this to make it better?
You don't need to.
Okay, thank you.
What I'm going to tell you is this. First off, you do not have the technology that they have. They have insanely advanced technology when it comes to very specifically gender confirmation surgeries. Looking into this, it is what you have discerned is that this place, in order to do a certain job, you must be a certain gender. There are 4 genders in this place, and jobs are reserved for people of a very specific gender. And so people just change their gender quite a lot. If you want to do this job, you just change your gender to be that job. And then if you want this other job, you change your gender to be that job. And from what you gather, people will change their gender quite often. Somebody might be like the father of one child, but the mother of another. There seems to be a very fluidity. It's a very rigid society of what each gender can do, but their relationship to gender is very, very fluid, if that makes any sense.
That is
100%. Yeah.
That's cool.
And it seems, as you're sort of getting the sense that this is all actually done from the Acis Central Authority, this is a completely sort of bureaucratized sort of society where it looks like they do tests to figure out what your aptitude is, and they tell you what job you'll have, right? So it's all this kind of, it is all exceedingly efficient is what it's all sort of done. But the thing that strikes you is that there is clearly a very strong medical tourist economy. But that very strong medical tourist economy for tourists, for people who are not from here, exists almost exclusively on the high port. So you can fly in, get whatever kind of surgeries you want on the high port, and then fly out, i.e. not at all in the middle of nowhere. There also don't really seem to be much of anything in the middle of nowhere. There's like, what you got is that this is mostly a farming planet with this massive sort of urban center right by the Harport. You see no record of tourist medical facilities out in the outback at all. If you want to get medical stuff, you come in Highport. There are like a number of clinics to do all sorts of things, and then you can just like pretty good recovery.
And like, what are the costs of those things, for example? Just out of curiosity.
Like 40, 50 credits. 50,000 credits up top.
Okay.
Wesley said 10,000 credits. It's like 50,000 credits up here, recovery within a week. And they also clearly have medical facilities down at down in the cities around the downport. It's sort of like a cluster of cities around.
Does our 10% discount apply to that?
No, it's trading, and this is not
Had to ask.
Aslan. Yeah, but I will just note that for you, this is like your medical role. You did very well. No, right? I mean,
sorry, Wesley. We're not going to allow you to go out to the outback and get sketchy surgery done.
It does not. But I will tell you, the outback is almost all agricultural. It's a bunch of farmers, very agriculture, and actually quite a bit of the planet is not settled at all, right? There's just like a lot of empty space on the planet. But absolutely no. I'm sorry, Stormder says 20K, pardon me. Absolutely, that it just does not read right to you that there's a clinic that does tourist surgeries in the middle of the outback of Acis. That just does not read right to you at all.
Okay. But the medical facilities here, we can find a place that is, has a better rating.
Good. Oh, absolutely. And it's pretty, like the things they describe, it's pretty phenomenal. It's the kind of thing that nobody else actually, you don't know of anybody who has this level of technology. And it seems primarily because that's what they really focused on. It is like so central to their society to be able to move their bodies the way they need it, that's really what they spent the vast majority of their scientific effort on.
Gotcha. Now, I'm going to assume that this is, while Val can understand like the medical procedures and the kind of the advanced tech that they're using, this isn't something that he could utilize without any type of he can't just jump in and start doing this, right? Okay.
No, but he could probably, you have a pretty good reputation. You could probably sit in a view with some schmoozing charm rolls, right? With some kind of like social standing based medical roles. You could probably get yourself to come in and check things out.
Severance?
Because you
Dr. W. Rabbit. You don't mind it.
Because you have a good reputation as a doctor who has made some breakthroughs in your time in college and in your early residency. If we remember our backstory.
I do. A specific one. And I had a great breakthrough that just came to me. I had a great breakthrough that just came to me. Right.
That is correct. Yeah. Anyway, other bits of research as you're waiting around on the.
Your luck.
I'm so sorry. Wait, what happened? Like there was like you were known that you had this breakthrough about developing some brand new drugs that were very innovative, really exciting drugs that you yourself, all by yourself, innovated back.
You've nailed it.
Quite a
You got
few
the story
years ago.
100% correct. Right.
Yes. Yes.
That's it. It's everybody, audience. That's exactly what happened.
There wasn't
Chisel that one out in stone.
a person
what?
who did the actual drug manufacturing and who was actually brilliant that you worked with, who you screwed over. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't that you said specifically, but Trooper, he's an asshole. If I remember correctly, you didn't specify that the person that you screwed over very, very badly was also an asshole. Oh no, wait, you did specify that. You specified the person you screwed over very badly.
Yes, because it makes me sound like a hero.
Asshole.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Somebody.
So
really
there's
good.
that. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You know,
Help
that's
me get
that's
my
the way the
drug
world
habit.
works.
Thank you.
Right. Something tells me this asshole has a new job too, and fuck him.
You're on his face.
That's going to be the one person. It's going to be the one person
Give me the
you are
surgeon.
going to have to schmooze for this.
Yeah, it's my Moriarty. Whoops.
I wonder how whoever made those drugs got your DNA. They'd have to have come into contact with you if it wasn't you.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, what the rest of you want to do for your
Oh, now I get it. Now I know it.
investigation rolls?
Oh, that's awesome.
So the Harlock has pretty much every place they go goes into the fancy port bar
Yes, you
because
do.
has
Yes,
a
you do.
fancy card and can just waltz in
Yes.
there and be like,
Card.
"Hey, what's up?"
Can I get a carousing social standing roll from you?
Oh, can you ever?
Mm-hmm.
Social standing, yes. And do I get anything for this? For a helping hand, since
No, not you don't get a boon or a bane for this one, but
I'm gonna hold your drink for you. Maybe bird my
yeah,
whistle.
audience.
Listen,
Val
she-
screwed over a
to be really
a person who creates drugs
nice.
for a living, destroyed their life, and he has not seen that person since then. By the way,
Right.
in college, when Val was doing other things, so this is a person who might have been paying attention to Val for quite some time. And anyway, so a 13, that's really good. So
Thanks.
the Travelers Aid
Oh, those are
Society
six.
Lounge is a place where a number of very well-off travelers travel through. And you get certain kinds of information there that you wouldn't get in other places. There are a couple things to note about Acis when you're in this spot. One, people are doing quite well, actually. There's a lot of really good trade. When you're sort of getting the vibe, because that's a very good role, what you get a sense of is that Acis is... It's a very weird paradox. They are very aggressive in their expansion, but not militaristic at all. It's almost all through trade and trying to build up the planets around them, right? Trying to sort of raise the status of all the places around them, and you get this like they built.
They will raise the status whether you like it or not.
Do you know Ace, that planet Ace, which has an E-level starport, which is like a flat place on the ground and probably doesn't even have fuel? Nobody. The reason why nobody goes to Ace, even though, by the way, it has millions and millions of people, is because not only do they have no starport, they also have no gas giant, which means unless you're a
Ooh,
jump
that's
two
rough.
capable ship, if you drop into that system,
Yeah,
you're
they'll
not getting
even-
out.
Yeah.
Right? And what you are finding out, because people were talking about on the Traveler's Aid Lounge, they got an old jump capable, like a big, massive jump capable ship. They flew it over to the Ace system, and they're using it as a refueling station. It's not been up very long at all, but now people with jump one capable ships, which are kind of these folks here can jump into that system, get refueled, and then jump out. So they're basically opening a brand new trade route with this planet that has been kind of isolated. But it also means
also sell to them too, which is kind of cool.
And also sell to them. And it also now links the kind of planets on the rimward side, like the outward side, where like Tyr, Sagan, Tik-Tik, Hakarda with Phoebus Norikman #1, because otherwise you just couldn't hit those if you were... Now, Imperial ships and GDCO ships are almost always jump 2, so they could always move through all these places making all the money, but this sort of group of planets couldn't, right?
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is that it's very clear that they're working really hard to sort of improve trade. You're also hearing from people on the inside that they are they're letting a lot of Aslan come through this space, a lot. Also, some Aslan have settled on the planet Ihatai. You know how the Aslan Hyrate, they have the Ihatai, the second sons, third sons, they go off and they conquer things.
Yeah.
There are Aslan settlements out in the outback that have sort of settled, and a lot of people in the lounge are like, that's kind of weird. But very often what you've noticed is that these Aslan will just move through Acis to other places, like it's a gateway into the Trojan Reaches. But more distressingly for people here, this planet was being oppressed until about 20 years ago. The planet Tyr, which is the only place in the system that can make jump-capable ships, just used to raid everybody and oppress everybody. They just ran around, killed people, stole their stuff. It was like the big naval powerhouse, and Acis was one of those systems that was being oppressed by them. And Acis decided to get tired of it, and they hired mercenaries from the Glorious Empire, which is that Aslan breakaway empire that believed in slavery pretty heavily. They run around and they like capture slaves. They're a bunch of slavers, and they just hired the Glorious Empire as mercenaries, and the Glorious Empire has come in, just wrecked face, and sort of liberated Acis. And now there are, from what you gather, a number of Glorious Empire Aslan who actually live in the major cities. There are these like sort of enclaves, and you see Aslan everywhere. And the people in the JTAS seem a little bit uneasy with the amount of Aslan in the area, but these people who are in the JTAS are not necessarily from Acis. They're like travelers who are coming in and out, including a number of Imperial travelers. Tyr still exists as a planet, but they've had a governmental shift because they got wrecked pretty badly. But they're still a very powerful planet, and what you gather is that there is a really serious Cold War happening between Acis and Tyr to see who's going to be the most important planet in this system. And Tyr seems to be much closer to GDCO and the Empire, the Third Imperium, and Acis seems to be throwing in with the Aslan. However, the Glorious Empire and the Hyrate are at war with each other. So there are a lot of battles between these two groups. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So do we want to just kind of like touch down here and then immediately jump to Tik-Tik?
Yes.
Like grab our info and then...
I think so.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. If it takes us 5 hours to refuel, then yeah, let's do that. If it takes us 5 hours to, if it takes additional time to sell stuff, then I won't. But I mean, I might as well sell stuff if it's.
We should
Why don't we
unload
assume
because
we
then we
come
have
back?
extra cargo space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can drop off
Just
the
in case.
passengers. We can drop off the what would we have, like the ore and stuff that we have.
We have
Yeah.
we have
We can-
13
Basic stuff. We don't need to pick up
13
new
freight.
stuff. We
We
should
don't need
be
to pick up new
Also-
stuff.
Tik-Tik's a crappy planet, which means if you wanted to pirate, that might be a place to pirate because they clearly are not going
That's
to have the
true.
kind of security. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to pirate here.
Or if we wanted
will
to take a
also-
bunch of
Right.
stuff from that lab or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
just
right.
spitballing.
Right.
weird.
Right.
I
Yeah.
will
Let's
also note-
clear the decks and then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
great.
don't have
I
all
will do
those
that then.
cosmetic units sitting around taking up space now, so there's that.
I will note that this when you came in, there's a huge naval presence here, a local naval presence. Like Acis has a lot of naval ships, has a really good security on this high port. You do not see a lot of jump capable ships though, right? Their navy is mostly because they can't build those ships, so they've
Mostly
built a
local.
pretty good navy, but they can't jump out of their system. They've got some ships that can jump, but they don't have a navy that's capable of jumping out. But they are protecting themselves, and they're clearly trying to do something. But I would say for you, the Harlock, there is an increasing imperial presence.
Okay.
Not here, but like some other planets, and there's like a. You would actually get this because of who you are, actually, and that you went to this place. There is apparently an imperial like there's an imperial base that's a science base in one of these planets around here that seems to be about maybe investigating ancient ruins, and by say ancient ruins I mean ruins of the ancients rather than
Yeah.
That sounds pretty convenient.
yes.
I would
Right.
almost guarantee that there is a Zidani
There might
tasked
be.
to that whole thing.
There might be.
I mean,
As a
what?
ma-
No, that would never happen. What?
So if you're looking at your map, there's the planet Dostoevsky. That's a little bit out of the way. And
Totally.
that planet Dostoevsky, you learn, dearest the Harlock, that is an imperial. That is now that planet is technically an imperial planet, and there is a research site there. And rumor has it there might be ancients stuff involved there, but the Imperium is on that planet and is their planet, is what I would say.
Okay, well, good to know.
And it's also a little out of the way, so people don't necessarily go there. But it seems to you that there's like a, yeah.
It's sounding to me like all the pieces are in place so that maybe at some point some chaos will break out that no one will notice some pirates amongst it. Is all I'm saying. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. We got some broker. That is good.
I'd like to sell the 13 tons of freight we have and some grebes. Okay.
Oh,
Let's not sell the grebes yet.
Let's yeah.
No. We're not going to sell that. They're going to know when the grebes come off, because then they're going to be like, oh, the drug dealers were on that boat. We can't put the kids or the grebes out in this travel. We have to.
All right. Okie dokie. All right.
Okay.
Sure. The
We're on
freight.
the move. We got clocks ticking.
That's true. We got 13,
okay.
we got 13 tons to clear.
Yeah, clear up 13 tons though. That sounds
Yes,
good.
absolutely. Quint, what about you? 5 hours, shore leave.
Yes. Beautiful. Off the ship and going about. I don't know what you would like me to roll, but I would
What
like.
would you like to roll?
It's a great question. I noticed they mentioned the Soleimani a couple times in their welcoming package, so it seems like they've got some strong ties there.
They do.
I would like to look up some news.
Interesting. Could you roll for me? Got some choices. Whatever it is, it's going to be intellect based. But you can do communications.
I'm assuming Lindy is super frozen.
Oh, she is super frozen.
She's
What's
got
up,
it.
Lindy?
I thought she was really just
Yeah.
in it.
She's really thinking about it. Oh, we lost her. She'll come back.
No.
By the way, Severance, while we're waiting for Lindy to come back, do you want to gather info while you're schmoozing about?
Yes. I mean, I I wasn't. I don't. The only thing that's like on my mind is Tick and selling this stuff and clearing the deck. I don't know if I'm.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I think he would probably ask about Tick. I mean, he's not. He's confident he knows what's going on in Tick, but also that's only through a dream. So he probably wants to get some stuff confirmed.
Give me some carouse.
Okay.
Social standing carouse while you're doing your brokering.
Sure.
Nice. People don't go to Tick very often, right? There's like what you get is that I see you. I see Lindy. We're bringing Lindy back. Yeah. Lindy, we're bringing you back. Let me move you to the right slot. Boom. Okay. Yes, and then boom, boom. What you notice when you sort of ask around, Tick is a crap place that people just don't tend to go to. They tend to avoid it, generally speaking. If they can, they tend to sort of, that doesn't to me, like there's not a lot of trade, right? When people are asking about trade for Tick, there's not a lot. It's actually just, there are a lot of, I mean, it's a pretty big population, but you kind of get the vibe that the Ticks, the chirpers kind of live in their own little like villages, sort of separate from all the humans, and they're kind of like there's no integration. It's like a very sort of like you've got like humans that are living and trying to live in this tainted atmosphere, and you might have some trade with them, but the people who are the Ticks themselves are very not at all integrated. People do not visit them. They do not go around them. People think they're a little, people are a little unnerved by them because
at all?
No, but
it's weird.
They might be psionic. It's a little unclear.
Okay. That makes sense.
There is so if you're talking about trade, some people believe, especially if you're talking specifically about Tick, there is like some people believe that the droin might be in some ways related to the ancients, and some people think that the chirpers or the Ticks are some kind of like devolved version of the droin, and nobody really knows where to find the droin or where their home planet is. They're very mysterious. They're kind of like, some people don't actually even really think they completely exist, but everybody wants to know. There's some kind of
D-R-O-I-N?
D-R-O-Y-N-E. They're sort of thought of as being like maybe psionic aliens that maybe somehow are related to the ancients or know the ancients. But iffy. Some people think that
like winged dragonborn.
If they're actually basically dragonborn, right? Some people think that if there ever were droid, maybe they're just Ticks now. Some people think that like it's a like there's still like there's a lot of stories about it. But somebody
the kobolds of these dragonborn.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, if you can think of the droid as dragonborn, you can think of the Ticks as kobolds.
Psionic kobolds, potentially psionic winged kobolds. Okay.
Yes, but what one person does tell you is that they're not certain if they can really say that these Ticks are really chirpers because they haven't heard about any ancient sites on that planet, and usually find things like chirpers or Ticks like on planets with ancient ruins. And as far as anybody knows, there hasn't been any reports of anything like that on that planet. So people are like, about it. It doesn't seem to be very. The only big news is that apparently the Countess Grey had been by through the area and was making big talk in imperial places about wanting to protect the Tick and their way of life from being tainted, and like really bringing in the Imperium to maybe just put a blockade on that planet so that people can't ruin their culture.
Okay. So how much do you want for these? You want this 13 tons of freight?
You got a good 10. I will get you that number. But you're not going to pick up new stuff, right?
No, we're just going to empty the deck for a bit.
Yeah.
We want to be able to save some gas.
I will say that what you can tell is that there is a lot of trade here, and it's good trade. This planet seems to be very well off in terms of trade, but I will also note that a lot of it is Aslan as well.
Okay.
And that is asking around, perhaps not normal. This trade route really should be taking goods from the Empire to the Florian League. And the Florian League is this sort of very isolationist human society that's off in green. That is,
I see.
yeah, where Yggdrasil is, that is the Florian League. And they're very isolationist, hostile. They don't like talking to other people. But this trade route goes to that place. And so most trade should be going from the Florian League to the Empire and back. But Acis is doing hand over fist trade with the Aslan. And that's exciting for a lot of the traders.
Yeah.
But a bit unnerving for people who are afraid that the Aslan are just going to invade.
Right.
Especially since there are a lot of Aslan mercenaries who come through here with weapons and guns. They don't have weapons and guns here on Acis, but they fly through Acis's airspace, right, to like make their way other places. So there's a little bit of a sort of touch and go sort of a situation.
Right.
And Quint, to end up with you.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know what you would like me to roll, but yeah, I'd like to look into any. I don't know how much I got out before I cut out and froze.
Admin?
Admin? Yeah, some Cirque du Soleimani news. What's been happening in the past, like, what is it, 4 to 6 years since I've been there? It's been a while. Cool. I think it's been 4, 5.
Yeah.
Admin.
Yeah.
Social, admin intellect, admin.
Depends how you're going about it, right? Depends on whether or not you're schmoozing your way through it, whether or not you're like using. It would either be like education or social standing, I would say.
We'll do social then, because I've only got 5 hours of shore leave with people that aren't on the ship, so we're gonna chat people. Yeah, it sounds nice. All right, admin, social, let's go.
By the way, y'all, I wrote up all these news items last night, and I cannot find my file of all the news items.
10, but I can make it better if I need to, with luck.
Would you like to?
Yeah, we're almost done with the session, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna pour all my luck into it. 5 luck.
A couple of things. 5 luck?
15.
1.
15. Yep.
I'm gonna get you some extra info. 1. As you're schmoozing, you notice some graffiti.
Yeah.
And it says, Grahai lives. And you notice it here or there. You see some people wiping it off. If you ask around, there is a man, Prince Richter Grahai, who should be the Emperor of Sindal. He's the pretender to the throne. The Sindal Empire does not exist anymore. I'm going to just note that. It died 1,000 years ago, right?
Try telling some people that, okay?
Yeah, try telling some. There is apparently some sort of Sindalian noble named Richter Grahai who seems to be somewhat... It's not very obvious. You just sort of note it here and there that there seems to be some group of people, you don't know how many, clearly not official, who seem to be giving graffiti for Grahai, who is going to maybe bring back the Sindalian Empire. It's a little bit unclear, but you get the sense that there are some people who want a good, strong Sindalian Empire to protect us from the Aslan, who might be coming in to invade. And apparently there's a Richter Grahai who can solve the Aslan problem, maybe? In some way. This seems very fringe to you, but you can see like little subtle bits of graffiti here or there that has sort of like cropped up a little bit. And there seems to be a little bit of... Some people may not be happy with the Aslan's presence. It seems like generally speaking, the society does, but you're getting a sense there might be some kind of sub-faction of malcontents who may not like the Aslan so much and might really like the old Sindalian Empire.
Yeah, no, I've met some people like that recently. That's weird.
That is weird. But
Weird.
I just want to bring up something about news sources.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. News,
You know how you might have
rumors, all that good stuff.
Yeah. You know how you might have a news source out, but then it's recalled because the information was incorrect, and then you get the proper story?
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
How that might happen in Soleimani space, where like a story comes out, but it's wrong, so
Oh,
they have to
yeah, that happens. The soul side.
pull it back and put the correct story out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while, though, when things are in jump space. So, yeah.
Sometimes if you're not in Soleimani space, you can't retract the story like
This
that.
is
You
true.
can't just
That's
erase
what I
the
was
story.
saying, basically.
Yeah.
Or it takes like an
Yeah.
extra 6 months for that info to get to the place,
Yeah.
and it's like people by then are like, well, we'll just add it to the file.
So there was a story about the quintessential Viridian.
Mm-hmm.
The quintessential Viridian, as it turned out, this is an old story from like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The quintessential Viridian was retiring and had retired to a different planet. It was like pretty normal. But then like 2 weeks later, actually what you got was that the quintessential Viridian assassinated the Emerald from before. That the great Emerald, who was, was
Yeah,
it the mysterious?
The predecessor.
Was it the?
I think it was the mysterious. Yeah.
Yeah, the mysterious
that sounds
Emerald.
right.
Yeah, the mysterious Emerald was assassinated by the quintessential Viridian, and that's why the quintessential Viridian went missing and is apparently on the run. And if anybody sees the quintessential Viridian who murdered one of the most beloved figures in the Search of Soleimani, you should say something. I will note in that first story about the retirement, there was a small quote from the Mysterious Emerald where the Mysterious Emerald was like, quintessential Viridian didn't tell me that they were retiring. So I've not heard about that. There was like a little bit of like, I don't know about this retirement. And anyway, then apparently Quint murdered the Mysterious Emerald and is a little bit wanted.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Also, apparently there have been, the last bit of news you've got is that there's apparently there's some skirmishes in the outback between the Aslan and some of the human farmers. And those were shut down real fast by the government. But apparently there was some kinds of, from what it looks like, there were attacks by humans on the Aslan with weapons they should not have had that probably came from off planet.
Oh.
But with that,
Love that.
with that, I will take us to the end of the episode. You are going to pack up your ship with Quint as a murderer, as an assassin.
Apparently.
Surprise to no one.
With some things
news to
happening
me.
on this place.
You cut
Well,
a
look,
person
we
in
learned a lot
half
of things.
That wasn't an
We learned-
assassination, though.
vertically.
Sure.
Those
We
are
learned
different
that Quint
things.
is an
It's just
assassin.
murder.
And assassined her predecessor. We learned that Val has been creating evil drugs and is part of a Free Fields, which seems to be maybe not exactly an organization that's meant to free the workers. Yeah. Also, side note, apparently there are rumors that people are being sold into slavery from this planet to the Glorious Empire, but that is not
weird.
official and disputed.
You're saying.
Yeah, but as you head off back out of Acis to head to Tick Tick to try to find Terika before something bad happens to them, you will be back to Acis on your way back through. But as you head back out into jump space with some news about all the rest of you, and by the way, the Harlock, the secret Zodani consulate base is in this subsector, just in case you wanted to know. So we are going to go. We're going to have our outros, everyone. If we could say who you are, give some love, and as you very quickly leave this place, what do you hope to find in Tik Tik, and what do you hope to do when you arrive back on this planet of Acis? Rocket.
Greg first.
Oh, Greg first.
Sorry, y'all, I have to jump. Hi, I'm Greg. I play Dr. Valentine Val Morrissey. Things I hope to do. 1, find Terica. 2, find Terica. 3, find Terica. 4, when we come back, help Wesley with the surgery. And that's that. My love for absolutely all of you. What a great. I know that we were all kind of into the week, reeling from, exhaustion and whatnot, but I appreciate all of you so very much. Trooper, thank you so much for that welcome package. That was amazing. That was so super duper cool. It just adds so much when you do stuff like that. It makes the world breathe, and that is the greatest thing about this game. And chat, thank you all so very much. You guys are just the absolute best. And then of course our chat, which is filled with nonsense, but I love you all. So I will say goodbye. Again, can't wait till next week. We must find Terica before something awful happens. And by this game standards, awful could be really, really bad.
Hey, Greg, guess what? Guess what, Greg?
What's
guess what?
that? I can't wait, bud. What?
That guy you screwed over in character creation, he's been ruining your reputation for quite some time. Just so you know.
Surprise.
Right. But you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck him. At some point, he's got to take the mask off, and we'll see exactly what's going on. So.
Yeah. Hey, weird thought. I wonder how people found out where your second in command was to get them arrested, and maybe also killed later. That's weird. I wonder who sold that person out.
I'll go to bed with that one tonight.
I wonder if it was your friend from college.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Me.
Listen, everybody, by the way, anytime I express disdain, if you see me like, oh, shit, I can't believe this is happening, I am in ecstasy. This is my favorite thing ever. I just to let everybody know, I provide these fucking knives to Trooper, and Trooper says, these are excellent knives. And Trooper says, let me make them sharper and double-sided. And then I go, oh, this is the best. And then I get lasered. So I do. So
he's on
I'm on it as well. So friends, I'll see you. Love you all. Peace.
Everybody.
Love you. Rocket, you're up next. This subsector has some secret Imperial bases, a secret Zodani base. Some excitement.
It's crazy.
And there are some, tell me where we can find you. Give some love, and what are you looking forward to? What is your character looking forward to in the jump to Tik Tik and back?
Yeah.
90.
Oh, that just killed my brain. Hi. Hey, everybody. It's me, Rocket Fox, your second favorite person. And if you want to find me, you can look me up. I'll be there. Spin around 3 times, say my name in the mirror, and I'll appear and just right at you.
Nice.
And the stuff that I am looking forward to, or rather, so what I'm looking forward to is finding out what all is in this lab. And I think that the Harlock is going to be interested to find out what's in the lab, but also maybe get a hold of anything that would need to be hidden, because now, when you hide one thing, all of a sudden there's a whole domino effect of other things that need to be hidden, so that people don't find out things that may be something, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the main thing. I think there is a curiosity also about, like, there's not really going to be time for it, but just a little bit of curiosity about the Tik Tik creatures and, like, their psionic capacities and such like that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that is something that she still covers and researches light, like, not in a scientific way, but gathers information and sends it to the people who would research it the more scientific way.
Rumor has it that they're connected to the ancients in some way.
Well, it's we realize that it's Miramor's cousins, so it's just
That'd be weird.
but that yeah, it turns out those bodies are not the initial versions of them. Anyway, so love going out though. I will give love to Greg, even though he has abandoned us in this our time of need. Yeah, all of that, pretty much everything is like, I love the scene with Wesley. Good stuff. Just y'all reaching out, making that connection, and even though he's scary. There's also those moments of heart of gold, and you gotta love it.
Yeah.
And also giving Wesley inner circle access to Sue. I don't know where that's gonna go and what's gonna happen the next time when Val is like, Sue, kill this man, and Wesley's like, no, we will not have that. It's like the two little guys sitting on the
ooh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting.
That may save Sue.
So I'm particularly interested in that. Yeah, but I love how smart everyone here is. And like when it comes to thinking about and I've said this before, like, Lindy, your brain with the logistics of stuff is just, and Lindy, both you and Cord, both of you, like, the way you see the space, the way you think about like all of the logistical pieces is something that I just cannot do. So it's always really cool to see, and very impressive, and also keeps us from losing. Just straight out, like,
game is about winning.
now y'all have lost the game. Game over. So, and yeah, and Trooper, as always, it was a delight to see you again in the scene with Wesley, Val, and Sue, switching between Wesley and Sue, because they both have vaguely like a Southern kind of deal going on, but it was also very easy to tell and very specific, which I think is really difficult to do. So always a joy and a wonder to see that happening. So I will. I'm literally passing out as I sit here, so I will stop speaking now.
Hey, Rocket.
Yo.
Do you see the map?
I don't. Wait, now I do.
Yeah. Do you see Tick Tick?
Yeah.
Right there by where you're at?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you see all those planets up there, like Thalassa, Homestead, Salif, and do you see how they're pretty awkwardly sort of set? Yeah.
Go on.
I'm just, so if you wanted to get there, you kind of have to get there through number one, because that's the only way to get up there. And there's that whole sort of like empty space, and you really cannot jump into empty space because there's nothing there. And if you have no fuel, it's bad for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And see, Gabriel, that's an imperial place. Dostoevsky is an imperial place. So there are a couple of imperial places just kind of hanging out. There's right there an empty spot in between Thalassa and Gloria.
Am I just, this is an empty spot? Oh yes, I see. Cool. Okay, that's good to know.
Well, is there any empty spots between here and Thieves? We got to get a transponder.
Right, take us to Pirates R Us.
Yeah. You'll just have to travel up there. I'm just going to note that there is absolutely not a secret outpost of Zodani right up there. Just noting it.
Does it move?
Oh, Wesley would lose his mind.
Where are you going? Where are we going? The secret Zodani outpost. What?
Oh, no, we are literally going nowhere.
No, we're going to Crash Jones's favorite place.
Yeah. And so I believe our next up is going to have to be Cord.
Hi, everyone.
Who
It's
are
me,
you? Where
Cord.
can we find you? And then give love.
Hi, everyone. It's me, the guy with the weird mic tonight. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the mic is okay or not. I'm just going to keep continuing as if it's fine. I am Cord, also known as Mythomatic. I stream sometimes. I've been doing a lot of Mortal Online 2 recently. It's a full loot MMO. It's dope. It's awesome. Full player economy. It's great. I would try to convince you all to play it, but it's probably too hardcore for you.
Oh, wow.
That's right. And now I've challenged everybody to come play it. But yeah, I've been role playing in that. It's been super fun. I recently just got partnered with them, so I can I can now have like drops and stuff on my channel. So if you are interested and you want like cool capes and cool cosmetics, then come hop by when those are available. But tonight was awesome. I loved the welcome video. Thank you so much, Trooper, for the welcome packet. Those things are so cool. Thank you for continuing that. I feel like that's if I was to do something like that, I would do it once and go, that was great. And then I'd get the praise and I would never do it again because that's just how my brain works. So congratulations for doing it a second time.
I can't wait
and
to go
thank you.
back to a GDCO play so I can make a really slimy
Another,
GDCO welcome back video.
shitty
That's like my
GDCO
goal.
one. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome back video. They have 2 videos. Hey, you're back. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. And then it's the same video. Harsh cut into the other video. Yeah, so it was super great. Thank you for doing that. I love having the background is super awesome because then it just gives me the visuals of what this place looks like. Yeah, I'm visualizing. It's Star Citizen helps, but I'm visualizing like a Coruscant center, but like planet like agricultural farms everywhere else, or like big ass plains, one little spot, which also makes me think. But then I start thinking about the weather, and I'm like, there's a lot of heat that comes in, thermal heat that comes off of that city. Where does that go? How does that affect the planet? How does that affect the crops? And that's where my mind goes. Anyway, you can follow me on twitch.tv/cord. I will probably rebrand back to Mythomatic soon because I can't decide. But tonight was awesome. Thank you once again for that welcome pack. Greg did an amazing scene that I could watch Greg do weird, like Dexter ass type scenes all day. That was awesome. Just seeing, watching him navigate through in his character, trying to like figure out who sent you, why is this here? Oh, I know something that you don't, and just having that over them, and then us waiting the entire time. When's the reveal going to happen? Was just so awesome, and it just kept me on the edge of my seat, and I'm sure it kept everybody else on the edge of theirs. Super excited to come back next week and to see what's in Tick. I feel like my I'm taking a breath right now because I realized I was talking for so very fast. I feel like Tick is going to be like, in my brain, I'm picturing I said this already, like Dathomir, Sith-like. I'm hoping that we're going to see like Sith ancient type laboratories because that would be sweet. Like I'm for some reason picturing like these Geonosian people, Star Wars again, but like those bug people that are just like these like caverns of them, and us needing to just figure out, maybe have to fight them off or try to like negotiate to be like, hey, let us through. You're a huge swarm of psychic bugs. Please let us by. Oh, you're just gonna keep screeching and hurt our brains internally. Anyway, I've got a whole episode in my head ready for it, but I'm excited. I think this will be super cool to see. I hope we grab our gas and turn and burn because I'm excited to take a look at maybe a less populated planet and one that can be a little bit more mysterious in the ancient way versus like us needing to like sneak by people or like convince them that we can be there. I'm excited to do a little bit of like have an archaeological planetary landing. Anyway,
well, officially there are no ancient ruins there. There's nothing there to find at all.
Can't wait. Like I said, archaeological digs.
I mean, if I were an ancient warlord and I had a secret hidden base, I bet people wouldn't know. Anyway, you know what? Never mind. I will talk.
Are you hinting at this like we are close to the guy? No, you're right. We got to go back to Drinax. We have the codes for Drinax. It would be a Drinax,
absolutely.
right? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
But also, I mean, you know what? I wouldn't worry about it.
I wasn't going to. I'm not. You know what? I'm not.
Yeah. Also,
I was, but now I'm not.
I certainly don't think Severance should be worried about it. Anyway, because I'm sure it's not going to bring up anything, you know. Anyway,
No, he'll be fine.
Lindy. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Hi. I'm fine. It's me, Laugh Love Lindy. To answer the questions first, what do we hope to find in Tick Tick? And when we come back to Acis, Quint and I are both really looking forward to meeting the Tick Tick. Because we have absolutely no connections to any other Tick Tick adjacent, perhaps psionic aliens
Certainly
ever.
not.
And if we did, that would be weird, because no one's seen Droin in like forever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe chatting with some Tick Ticks,
See what that's all about.
seeing what they're all about. You know, maybe they're friendly or maybe they're not on good terms with the Droid. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. I've got a connection. I might have been awakened by a connection. It's weird. Anyways, that's what I'm looking forward from Tick Tick. We come back to Acis, civilization. Quinn grew up and spent most of her life on a really huge city, on a really big planet full of people. So to have a nice, really bustling spaceport with information and people and things and shopping, that sounds so nice to quit right now. And when we come back, hopefully we'll have a Terrica with us, so it won't be as terrible, and I can have more than 5 hours to look into that headline that I found and be like, whoa, I definitely didn't kill my mentor, aka the only friend I've ever had in my life, basically. This is fine. So,
and your other friend disappeared and is probably dead.
You know? Friend's a strong word. I don't know what's going on here. So we're gonna find out. That's what I'm looking forward to. Love for tonight. Gosh. There's so much love to Ari for being so gosh darn good at being missing and causing all our characters stress.
Just didn't even show up.
Didn't even show up. Yeah. I know. It's so much. There's some love.
Yeah.
We felt it. Yeah. Weren't even here, and wow, what an impact. I really loved Greg's interrogation scene because I love Greg, and that was great. So and it's been a hot minute since I've seen that from Greg, and I'm like, yeah, get it, murder them. And he did. It was awesome. And so let's see what else. I loved our admiral just being like, yep, nope, we're gonna land, we're gonna dump stuff off, we're gonna go back, we're just fuel and go, just making some executive decisions and then checking in like half-assedly. Yeah. Like, good, everybody good, cool, that's what we're doing. I thought that was great. And then of course our wonderful Zodani just kind of sitting back and like taking everything in, plotting in the background a bit, and you know, going to that little bar, getting some info. Yeah, some good stuff. And that's of course the welcome video. That was great. I enjoyed it, especially the fields of poison that I saw in the beginning and end. And you can find me online at Laugh Love Lindy. I play tabletop RPGs. You can find me on bi-weekly Mondays and Tuesdays, opposite days, on my channel for Critical Roles Call of the Netherdeep in our new batch campaign, and Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which we just had this past Tuesday. Wednesdays, when storms aren't fucking with the power and internet and all sorts of stuff, for the last few episodes of Mysteries at the End of the World, and not for the next 2 weeks, but indefinitely after that, on Jay Britton's channel for some Pendragon Dark Ages Cthulhu, where it's basically just lewd comedy Cthulhu with some dark stuff. Yeah, and then here, it's me.
Lewd Thulu?
It's basically Lewd Thulu. Look, there are so many. Like, I'm shocked that the VODs on YouTube are eligible to be monetized. Like, they're like, we've reviewed this and it's eligible to be monetized. And we're like, did you really review it then? Because, like, let me tell you what, we said some stuff.
I'm going to read out our messages from our lovely viewers. We got 500 bits from Hawkeye. There's an RP that's been on my mind. Makes us happy every time. Tagonists. Whoa. Thank you. That's 500 bits. 100 bits from Stormbender, who says, gamble on, which I will. We had a lot of lovely gift subs hanging out. We Also had 100 bits from Will and TW, who keeps the notes, who's our, I cannot even say how much, how great, so much, says, thanks all for another amazing episode, such great character moments, and the vivid impression of Acis. What could be lewd about creamy buns? Asks Schmelza. So I'm just going to sort of give it some quick love.
Quick question.
Yes.
Quick question. Did we sell the freight? Can I delete it off
Yes.
of my grid in my game, in the map?
No, don't delete it. Just exit out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Do
exit
what I
out,
did with
but I'll
the
give you
cosmetic repair units.
I
Just
can move them
boop.
off of the deck.
There's a button that if you
there's a check.
thing that
You can just undo the check.
yes.
I'm saying
basically.
that off of the deck in the map.
Yes,
That made
off
those-
the deck, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Because you brokered enough. So I'm going to give my quick love. I want to give love to Rocket for being a particular kind of glue that helped put some things together, especially around the clone lab, right? Like Rocket did some really important work with both Val and also Severance to get some things moving together that I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. I want to give love also to the whole crew being like, who's going to fly this? You? So, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, our spy gets that info. I want to give love to Greg talking to somebody who's like, I know who the White Rabbit is, and you don't even know. And Greg's, going to kill you now, and love it very much. I also want to give love to Lindy for laughing and also being lewd. No, but for like. There's like a very practical thing, like we're going to fix up this ship. Also, we're going to give ourselves way more space in our cargo hold. And also, it'll make Terrica feel better when they get back. Like that little moment was this very like little sweet moment that I appreciated very much. And also Cord. Our Severance is becoming a pretty good leader. And I am very excited to see, like, this episode was a very weird episode in from the outside perspective. But as a GM, I have to say the kind of, you can feel the crew knowing each other, and you can feel the crew like settling into a kind of a trust in game that is really, beautiful. Like you all know each other so well now, right? Like there's something really,
Except Quint. I have no idea who they are.
Nobody trusts me.
Wesley trusts
still
Quint.
convinced they're an NPC.
Okay. NPCs excluded. Yeah. But I trust them not to trust me. So, there's that.
Exactly. It's a trust.
And I've been sitting on the evil Nega Val for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want you to know that I have all of your backstories reviewed, all of them. And I just note all the people in your backstories, and they are coming. All of them. So anyway, that's me. I'm troopersjp. I want to thank everybody who watched. I want to thank this crew, and it's been lovely. Thank you so much. Next week, you can find us back here for the next episode of The Gamblers, where they're going to go and try to find Terrica. And Terrica is probably somewhere hidden on Tick that, you know what? I wouldn't worry about it. I certainly wouldn't worry about a millennial old warlord. You know what I thought was really exciting for me? How Marrymore certainly thinks that he deserves lots of titles and that everybody should respect him and that he is better than everyone else in this very exciting way. And poor Severance living in his body. Anyhow, you can find me on Monday at 8:30 p.m. over at Wandering DM's channel as well for Montreal by Night. And we'll be starting off that season, and we're all probably going to die, and it's great. And every single person here is wonderful. I adore all of you all, and I adore this cast. And we will catch you all on the flip side. Bye.